off. Oh, that's pretty cool. Watch this one. I forgot about that one. Come on, give us a little better shot of that. All right, you're not. Again, we're off. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. Let's throw it on over to Discord to the host of the show for today, Mr. Evening.
I'm not having this tonight. I've not prepared notes or anything.
What is that intro? My goodness.
Tornado.
Yeah, that's not fair.
That's not fair.
No. There's a lot of unhappy punters who put bets down this evening to get what? The Wizard of Oz?
The Wizard to get the Wizard of Oz, yeah. I didn't think you'd get that one. I thought I'd shift things, change things up.
There's no sound.
That's off the board, though. How are we supposed to get it?
If I put the sound on, then I would have definitely gotten copyright strike. Now it's only 50-50. Yeah, so yeah. I just wanted to let you just let everyone see the snake of a worm of a tornado. That was crazy. I've never seen anything like that before.
You had everybody confused in chat. They're like, no volume? No sound?
Yeah, that's right. No sound. That's right, because of copyright issues. They'll definitely hammer me on that one.
I'll show you something you've not had.
Oh yeah,
before.
you said something about throwing a video in somewhere, didn't you?
Not a video, just a picture. So Saturday we had another family birthday. Luckily they weren't at BALLBUSTERS. I did a barbecue.
All right.
And the lady brought me what the boys auntie. Anyway, one of the family members come down from Cumberland and brought proper Cumberland sausage. This is why I was eating sausage sandwich for my tea last night.
Oh, there were leftovers?
Yeah, there's still sausage left, mate. If you see the size of it.
Where is it?
I've sent it you in
Teams?
it's called. What's it called now? Teams. There you go.
All right, hold on a second. Let me go snatch it.
These other sausages cooking for scale purposes only. For demarcation, the back sausages.
They're for demarcation only?
Yeah.
Nicely done. All right, where are you? The Adam Meekin.
Are you a sausage expert, Adam?
Oh, wow. Check this out.
I've been called a sausage. Look at that bad boy. The size of an LP.
Italian, that's friggin' awesome, man. Nice grill. You got charcoal in there? Oh, you do got charcoal in there. All
Yeah.
right.
Don't cheat, mate. Don't have none of this gas nonsense, which is basically just like women's cooking outdoors, isn't it? Take a gas
Ain't
tank.
women's cooking outdoors. I got a gas grill. Works just some things you don't want a charcoal though.
Everything.
No, not
want
everything.
charcoal.
And what's up with this up here? You know what we call these here? Fishing hot dogs. No, fishing hot dogs. That's the hot dogs we use for fishing, but not eating.
Well, no, they were lovely. They were big, nice German ones. And then you've got, well, they were like proper Frankfurter sausages. Then you've got, what are they called? Bockwurst.
Yeah, those are
There we go.
brats. These are brats over here. What the hell is this nightmare right here?
That's the Cumberland sausage, mate. Honestly, that fed so many people. It's still going.
Oh, I'm sure it did. Look how long it is. Jesus. What's it made out of? Sausage?
Yeah. Just plain pork and a little bit of pepper, I think, salt and pepper.
Oh, okay. All right. Doesn't look too bad. I imbibed in some brats in my time, that's for sure.
Oh, they're lovely, the braise.
Yeah. They're not too, I wouldn't be, eating them all the time, but like maybe once a month or so I'd go snatch up some brats. Yep. Not too bad. Okay, thanks, Adam. Is this the thing you're going to show me? You weren't going to show me yesterday?
Yeah, I couldn't. I thought, well, the ruin your impressiveness.
Yeah,
that's the biggest sausage I've ever cooked.
Now, did you cook this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is your grill.
Yes.
I need a better picture of this. This looks too small.
I before there, I'd cooked I must have been 100 chicken wings on there as well.
Nah, you don't do chicken wings on the grill, man.
Oh, I can do those
Yes,
chicken
you do.
Oh, no, you don't.
I know your secret, and we do that too. But on the grill is come on.
You know what? I'm getting DTs from not having chicken wings because it's been so hot here. I can't turn the oven on, so I haven't been able to cook wings in like almost 2 weeks. So I'm starting to get the heebie-jeebies, right? But we're headed down to Springfield on Thursday, visit my daughter, and I shouldn't tell people. Anyway, we're going to get wingies, man. So I'm going to get the fix. They're going to have to bring me in. I'm going to be like shaking, right? And it has to sit me down, and I'm just going to.
Wait, is it a famous wing place that you're going to go to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. That's what's happening.
You ever heard of Sticky Fingers?
This is a family show.
No. Sticky Fingers is a really good place for wingies. Huge wingies.
Get that out of there.
We had. I sent Neil a picture as well. He's not responded.
No, that sausage. I wanted to. That sausage looked proper.
But I sent you because you sent me a few days before because your missus cooks very English food, so she'd made a Victoria sponge, hadn't she?
Yes, that was delicious.
I think it inspired Marie to make her mum's birthday cake a Victoria sponge. So I sent you that. There's the Vicky sponge as well, mate. Much more impressive than oh no, that isn't impressive.
Oh, that's badass. Let me go back and I'll show everyone else. Check it out. That's entirely too close to that thing, man. Entirely too close. This one isn't too wide, but it's nasty. Say again?
If you can see it, you're too close.
Yeah, I agree. You don't know what they're going to do because they're too wild, man. They could go off in any direction. I think this one does. Watch this thing. I think it goes across the road and it comes back. You gotta be on your toes with these things, man. Especially when it does the snake on you and stuff. You don't know where the heck that thing's going. Watch this thing. Coming up to the road. You'd figure it would blow these poles down, right? But it doesn't. Well, they're about halfway cocked anyway. Yeah, I'd figure that it would throw those poles. Okay, so it's going across the road. You got people crashing into each other here. You got the Dominator in there. Watch this. Watch this little accident right here. Watch this. So that's the Dominator. He likes to go into the middle of tornadoes. Bam! Smashes into the car behind him. Another storm chaser rips his bumper off. He thinks he's all that in a bag of chips that everyone should clear out the way for him and stuff. All right, so it went across the road, right? Now it's going to go back across the road. Heck with that, dude. Heck with that. Yeah, you stopped down there, you damn Skippy, because it could come right at you. All right, that's enough of that. Got too many copyright strikes for that. I thought I'd share that anyway.
Adam, I don't have no picture of anything. All I got is this word that says image.
You can't pull it up on your phone?
No, it just says image, and I'm trying every way to get it, and you just can't get it.
Yeah, it happens. Teams is
weird.
It's starting to get on my last nerve. It'll stay there for a while. There's nothing I can do about it. So that's what we got. All right. So what are we going to do today? Or do you guys have something before we get started?
Sausage.
Did you eat more sausage today? You sausage eating.
I'm done. I am done. The dog's getting the rest of the sausage.
The dogs, yeah. You know, even though it's really good, you can only eat it so many times. Now, there's definite exceptions to the rules with this, right? Like spaghetti, like the way my wife makes it, there's no rule for that. You could just keep on eating it, right? Like daily. It gets better every day, by the way. And wingies, that's another exception. I could just, no, I can't. After a while, I'm like, okay, I've had enough.
It was nice
we can't
that
talk about this. We don't have a degree in it. I'm pretty sure that that'll tie into what we were going to do.
What the hell are you even talking about? Rumpus and Flatsy? Wholesale lettuce Don Flatsy Klein?
I was gonna say that it was real nice that Adam served up, Jaron and Witsit on his grill because they're sausages.
Oh, they're sausages. I forgot about that. Yeah. Too funny.
So, Q.E., when your wife makes spaghetti, you're talking about a meat sauce with sausage and meatballs and all.
No, we don't put
meat?
sausage and meatballs and ruin the damn thing. No, actual spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, it's called a meat sauce when you got meat and stuff in there.
It's a meat sauce, but it just doesn't have meatballs or sausage in it to ruin it. Yeah,
So your sausage is separate from the sauce.
Yeah, no, the sausage doesn't get anywhere near my spaghetti, nor does meatballs. Just let me tell you something.
And that has to be the most bland sauce. Because the sausage that you fry, and then you mix the paste and tomato sauce in there.
Shut up. You have no idea. I came back from the military. It was in the early 90s, right? And I said, you know what? I'm going to make a spaghetti sauce that is going to be absolutely killer. So for the next 3 months, this is when I first got back. For the next 3 months, man, I tested different ingredients, right? For 3 months, and I finally hit nirvana, man. I grabbed that stuff. I took it down to my friend's house. He lived about 3/4 of a mile away. I walked it down there. I said, dude, right? You got to try this. And he goes, oh, yeah, you got this now. Yeah. So I gave this recipe to my wife when we got married. And she has just tweaked a little bit here and a little bit there over the past 25 years. It's the best spaghetti sauce I've ever tasted in my life. You will never taste anything like this. Ever.
Oh, God. It's not Italian.
Ever.
So
Ever, dude. Ever. I'm telling you.
Do you at least put?
Okay, if we put a bet down, Adam, who would your money be on to have the better tomato sauce?
Meat sauce, meathead.
Meat sauce.
Yeah, it's called a ragu.
Ragu. No, it's
Exactly.
definitely not ragu.
You answered my question.
Getting
Thank
no
you.
flavor if you're not frying the sausage in there first.
We can't hear you. See, he's going off. The Italian him and just Italian pride in him just won't let him shut up.
I'm shutting up.
Go ahead.
You
Foxy.
answered. Yeah, you answered my question. I was like, you at least put some meat in it, right, for meat sauce.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've ever said this, but when I make meatloaf, which I know you hate, I don't put sausage in it. Like some people put ground sausage and hamburger meat. I don't do that. I just do hamburger meat.
And the meatloaf sandwich.
Just in my meatloaf.
If I was ever at work, I used to work outside all the time and in construction and stuff. And we were sitting there, and lunchtime came, and then we were all sitting around, and somebody pulled out a meatloaf sandwich. I had to slap him.
That is messed up. Because my friend he's an old man. He works in the mines, and he will definitely pull out a meatloaf sandwich. Okay. Out of his lunch bucket, because you got to take a bucket.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I'm curious.
What?
I'm curious about. Sorry, frog in my throat.
Where the
I'm
hell
curious
you
about-
been?
I've been around surviving.
All right, go on.
Dabbling with the enemy.
It's like Joey from Friends, isn't he?
Yeah.
Start talking food and he's food. Eli's actually chirping in.
Yeah,
Even Eli.
yeah. Go ahead.
I
You,
really want to taste
go ahead, you
sauce tastes like.
deviant.
It is
We're gonna rumpus you.
It's weird.
We're gonna rumpus you to death. All right, go ahead.
The meat, where is it?
Where's the beef?
I do want to taste it though, but without the meat, I'll just throw the meat in there, Neil, afterwards if I have to.
If I have to. Oh boy. You got dehydrated beef patties? Oh, those are nasty, man. Back in the day, military MREs, man, they had dehydrated meat. Now, the pork patty wasn't that bad, as a matter of fact. That dehydrated, what you do is it's dehydrated, so it's self-explanatory. You just add water, you open up the top of the package, you add water in it, let it soak in there for a little bit, right? Surprisingly, that wasn't that bad. So what I used to do, because I had my own personal stove on me, right? It wasn't a stove, it's just an attachment to a canteen cup and some heat tabs. And I got pretty prolific at ramen cheese and ramen noodles. I could whip that stuff up so fast, it'd make your head spin. And every once in a while, when we had some downtime, I'd get one of those pork patties, right? And then crumble it, dehydrated pork patty, you know, get it hydrated up first. And then crumble it inside the cheese and ramen soup. I'll tell you what, that'll put some hair on your back. You got some hot sauce with that. Look out! All right, that'll be enough of that. It brings back a lot of memories. Not too long ago, I pulled out some ramen noodles because you could pack them, right? You could. They're so light, so that was a wise choice by me. I would pack those things in my rucksack. They'd be everywhere. But my favorite was chicken and mushroom. They helped me survive. Right? Because I wasn't eating a ton of MREs. You don't want to do that. Right? So, but with me, it was cheese soup, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I didn't mind it all that much. And it kept the weight on me. I had to have nutrition. My soldiers used to come up to me and say, "No nutrition, no mission."
That's a good one.
Yeah, it is. It was classic. They used to run it all the time, man. Those are good times. So I decided not too long ago, I think it was a couple of years ago, I said, you know what? Let me try some of that ramen. I'll hook up some cheese, you know, from cheese. It just wasn't the same. I don't know why. It just, I couldn't even finish it. That's the end of the story. That's the moral of the story.
I just looked at a video of a 1945 K-Rat being opened and eaten in present day.
Oh, K-Rats. Yeah, there's K-Rats. There's other ones. They weren't here. We had C-Rats, C-Rations first. The K-Rations are older. The C-Rations, when I first came in, they were just getting phased out. So in 83, they were getting phased out. Right? So, and then the MREs came in. Now, the MREs their MREs are like deluxe dinners, and I haven't really looked into it. I just heard some people talking about them. Not too bad. Cheese and the peanut butter wasn't all that bad. We can go over to some of the things that weren't that bad. Most of the dinners were like puke-a-honest.
Well, you put hot sauce on anything, it tastes like hot sauce, QE. Just add the hot sauce.
That's true, but then if you get chicken pot pie, God, I got so sick it gave me food poisoning one time. I will never eat chicken pot pie the rest of my life after that. I never liked the shit anyway. But chicken pot pie in the MRE, that almost killed me. But that's many years ago. All right, so what are we going to do? Adam, you still with us? Or you're in a
Yeah. I was just, you know.
Yeah, in a sausage coma?
No, I was just thinking, all this food, it's got me hungry. So I was thinking about going down and getting something to eat.
Yeah, that's why I do it.
It's tea time.
My wife just made she's got some baby carrots and brown sugar and butter. She got a nice little recipe with those. And she used the steamer. She steamed those little baby carrots up. You know, they're thick baby carrots. She steamed those up. It only took her 6 minutes in her new cooker. Steamed them up, made some glazed freaking carrots. I'm going to be in on that at some point in the middle of this. I just want to let you know. Guess what I had for dinner last night?
Carrots.
Cauliflower.
Ugh.
Did you hear that guttural moan from Adam? This is
Like, what does it taste of? What does it taste of? Water. What does it look like? Brains. It's just a weird thing.
Yeah. It has a very... You got to get good cauliflower now. Sometimes you get some bad stuff. It tastes like dirt. You don't want that. I will spit that out. It'll be out in the yard. But if you get a good one, you have to take a look at it too. You can tell from the outside. It's just a look and feel type of thing. But it has a very subtle taste to it. I just put just a little butter in there with it and a little salt. Steam them up. They were delicious. Of course, at 1 o'clock in the morning last night, you could hear my stomach going, because I guess I didn't eat enough.
Yeah.
Too funny, man. It's not bad. I enjoy it. It's a good break from the average dinner and stuff, just to eat a whole bunch of vegetables or something. All right, let's roll on here. We're back to, oh boy. It seems like a year.
He was getting in our good books.
Say again?
He was getting in our good books.
We're getting in our good books.
With his sarcastic and witty rebuttal to Monkey Brain Collector.
Oh, it's the ass clown chuckle monkeys.
What do we call it? Zyra.
That's what
Zara. That's it, yeah.
Zara. Yeah. Yeah. So people have the context. If you watch the last show, then you get the context. It's a thoughtful challenge to Gutsick Gibbon. You remember Gutsick Gibbon, this chuckle monkey right here. I mean, she's a real glue sniffer. And we got Cream of Wheat and another so-called doctor. He's a real dumbass. You'll get to see him here in a second. So I think this is going to get really stupid fast. I'm just not ready for it. Yeah, what to do? Can't they just... I know, I'll just slow the speed down.
No, he's slow enough.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, Lord, please don't.
Why don't you be the host today and then you just take over?
Not prepared. Not made notes.
You don't have to make notes. We're doing it. We're raw dogging this. I know it's going to get stupid. I haven't watched. Well, I did. I watched it like 4 or 5. Whenever. Where did it come up? 1 month ago. I clipped through it. Right, but I can't remember what these idiots said. I don't know.
When I do my show, I'll pick a video. Don't worry. It's all good.
All right. So what you're saying is this is my responsibility, right?
You pick this. I shouldn't have to deal with this.
All right. God, this is going to be painful. Okay, here we go. This is Dr. James Torr, and this guy thinks I remember, he thinks he's a scientist, but he's an engineer. Nothing wrong with engineers. We need engineers. Engineers, some of them are brilliant, right? They're just not scientists. It's a completely different topic. And if you pretend you're a scientist around me, you're going to get your ass tore out. No matter how nice you are. You're a pretender clown fraud in my book. Hell hath no fury, brother.
So, Rob, your background, I know that you have a degree in medical technology.
Yeah, that's
No
not
sound.
science. Go ahead,
No
Adam.
sound here.
Oh, you
No
don't have any
sound
sound?
No.
Well, turn the damn thing up.
Oh, was it me? Oh, yeah, because I had to mute you last week. It is me. People didn't stop talking. You know, when you were playing out last week, I thought, I can't hear. I couldn't sing along. So I muted you.
What was I singing?
I think it was Where the Guns, wasn't it, last week? But whatever it was, I couldn't hear it because people were too boisterous. So sure.
Nah, it was Ghost Riders.
You played that afterwards.
Oh, okay. All right, let's go back since what the hell? Don't highlight that. Just go back. I do a 5-er. Here we go.
So, Rob, your background, I know that you have a degree in medical technology. His actual title in industry is called Senior Distinguished Scientist. And
Yeah, that's it. It's an oxymoron. He can't be a senior distinguished scientist as an engineer. That's why you lose all credibility. I don't get it. Do you actually, Dr. James Tour, do you think engineers are scientists? Really? See, after you say something like that, or you intimate something like that, you may know everything there is about chemistry, but no one's going to listen to you. If you compromise yourself on simple stuff, then all your knowledge just goes by the wayside. As soon as I hear that, I get immediate weathered eye raise. So I don't get it, Adam. You're an expert at calculus, but you forgot what addition was. That's the problem.
And these types of titles are used in industry for the most senior scientists.
Man, he's not one.
That they have in their companies.
He's doing that's the second time each instance, ladies and gentlemen.
As a PhD in medical engineering and medical physics.
Medical physics? What the hell is that?
Just using buzzwords.
Adam?
From Harvard and MIT. Harvard.
Oh boy, just name dropping. That's some big stuff right there. He must know what he's talking about. Let's see.
Taught the medical part. MIT taught the engineering part. So he has actually quite a strong background in these sorts of areas. And I'm going to let him speak about the things that he'd like to speak about in these areas and bring us through this.
Where's his lips at? Somebody's stealing these people's lips. I just noticed. I looked over. I said, where the hell are they? Is he related to that Aston Chuckle Monkey?
Lip service.
I laughed so hard last time because somebody in the YouTube chat had said something like, I can't unsee that she doesn't have a top lip. I was laughing.
Oh, boy.
I'm a synthetic organic chemist, deal with molecules all the time.
Yeah, you're not a scientist. Synthetic. That gives the game away. So chemist and nanotechnologist, that's fine. Much respect. You're not a scientist, though. Everyone understand why synthetic gave it away? If you don't, report to the WHO and KMI institution immediately.
I spent the early part of my career working on natural.
I thought he was going to give it let the other guy speak. Now we're getting his bio. All right.
Product synthesis and methodology for making natural products and drug design.
You don't make natural products. Nature makes natural products. Humans don't. That's a train wreck. You just compromised yourself again.
and actually have started a few pharmaceutical companies along the way.
Is that natural?
I've been the founding scientist of those.
You are not a scientist. They just don't. Adam, you there? You in a sausage coma still?
No, I'm thinking about running for some Pakora, but I don't know. It depends what he's doing. Nanotechnology doesn't sound like science.
He said he was a synthetic chemist, Adam.
That doesn't sound very sciencey.
It makes natural products.
Actually, synthetic products.
Isn't that a contradiction?
Yeah, he's a bit confused.
I don't know the area of genetics well, so I'm going to turn it over to my friend Rob on this.
He doesn't either.
Okay, thank you, Jim. It's good to be back here. And
I think that's disingenuous. He knows it very well.
Yeah, you think? Let's see how much he talks about genes.
you know, for me personally,
but in certain categories, he's a very, very knowledgeable man, isn't he?
Oh, I'm
what
sure.
we're taking with is again taking false credit. Science.
Yep.
Use it all. The strange thing in this place is it exemplifies how it becomes a nothing burger as a word. Yeah. Because he is an engineer, so top scientist who engineers things. Who's the top engineer? What is the science for, other than to give fake meritorious distinguishment to the title? It doesn't actually elucidate what his role is in these companies where he gets top scientist being a really good engineer.
It's called stolen valor.
I don't think they're doing it purposely. It's out of ignorance.
But the net effect is it doesn't mean anything, does it? It becomes nothing.
Yes.
In terms of what it means in this context. The only thing you know about him is he's an engineer. That's relevant now, isn't it? And then he's described his stuff, what he does. Saying I'm a scientist is what does it mean fundamentally? Unless, as Flash says, he's trying to steal valor. Oh, and I'm a scientist as well. Then, and there's no need. Like I said, these gentlemen are experts in their field, and Miss Dr. Tor, there, expert in many fields.
Yep. He's just not a scientist, and neither is Rob.
This video for me is not really about Erica or Dave or Dan, because I don't.
Erica, Dave, and Dan are the Ascalon Chuckle Monkeys. You'll be seeing them pop up here.
I don't think they're in a place where they're going to benefit from this at all. I have no misconceptions that they're going to change their opinions or anything.
Change their opinions? So we're listening to opinions now from Ascalon Chuckle Monkeys. That's what we're doing. You are an enabler, sir. Let's go back. Not you. You're not a sir. You and this guy over, you are enablers. We identified, that was the key point the last time. You are enablers, and I went off on you. And all of your ilk, that's AIG, Answers in Genesis, Creation Ministries International, all the creation organizations out there, you are enablers. You are the biggest part of the problem. When you can cut their legs off right out from under them in less than 15 seconds, but you don't do it, you're enablers. You want to keep the conversation going. You're the biggest part of the problem. I think I told you that, didn't I? Read down here. Yeah, I trashed you through here. Like 1, 2, 3, ABC, all of them just ripped you to shreds. And then, let's see. Hopefully by now you realize that you'd have better chances distilling Alexander the Great's tears from the Euphrates than answering any of the questions above. If you don't realize it by now, then you're a big part of the problem, Dr. Rob. Right. I already told you twice, probably 3 times now. Hopefully the audience understands what I'm talking about after I explained it quite thoroughly the last time. If you don't understand it, go back to the video previous to this one and listen to the beginning of this. And you'll know my position. There won't be any question where I stand.
From this at all, I have no misconceptions that they're going to change their opinions or anything.
He will be eviscerated by a dozen people, each themselves
What are you, glue sniffing?
experts in the fields that they talk about. And that will be in addition to Professor Dave, who will continue to dunk.
Professor Dave couldn't dunk on a Cracker Jack box. He's a moron. He's dumber than you are.
On James' tour.
Who hurt you?
But they did bring up some interesting thoughts, some misconceptions that give me an opportunity to address those for our viewers, you know, because maybe I didn't explain things very clearly. And
see, what these two guys are giving a treatment to the ass clown chuckle monkeys is what's happening here.
So I want to go back and explain some of those things using some clips from their rebuttal.
Yeah, you are. You're stealing my valor. That's my game. I call them treatments. And I'm giving you a treatment on your treatment.
And again, it's not so much for them. It's really just to help clarify things that other people...
Yeah, it's helped clarify stuff for my audience. That's what I'm doing too. You got that right.
People, I'm sure in the audience may not have seen clearly. So I'm looking for...
My audience sees pretty clearly. I'm just pointing these things out to you. There may be some subtle things that I may bring up, maybe resonate with them a little bit more.
Forward to that. So the video is mostly...
He's compromised right now. We've seen this before, too. This is his book. The Scientific Approach to Evolution is the dumbest thing I've ever friggin' heard. It's a train wreck. It's a paradox. Number one, you don't know what evolution is. And it's not science. So this is a train wreck of epic proportions. Along with, remember his 6 criteria, Adam? Or are you still in your sausage coma? I caught him. He's not there. Yeah.
Well, I'm not Adam, but I would like to ask a question. Do you still have no response at all to your comment?
I didn't look. I don't think so. Nope. There's 11 responses to this one. Dr. Stadler was/is cool as cool can be. He was not moved or shaken by any of the rebuttals. Stop it, I'm getting misty.
Hold on, that's pretty telling. They haven't answered you, but he's got 11 answers for that other one?
Yeah, I got 11 replies.
Sticking your head in the sand.
The 6 criteria Dr. Stadler lays out absolutely applies to every field of science. Ladies and gentlemen, we got pretender clown idiots everywhere. Yep, that's what it says. That's enough of that.
Rush.
Oh, now he's back.
That's it. I put dinner orders in, and the beer is replenished.
Yeah, you snuck out without saying anything. We busted you.
Tried to. Clearly, I didn't.
You needed Brian in here to run some interference. Where is that friggin' potato clown chuckle monkey himself?
He's probably taking a swim.
Here's your 6 criteria, Adam. That's the ones you love.
About this book and these 6
one of the fundamentals, isn't it? To be careful. It starts twice, 4 and 5. Careful to avoid, but you've got to be careful. You haven't got to necessarily avoid any bias. Be careful.
criteria. And as I described there, the 6 criteria are used to determine a level of confidence in science.
In science, a level. So we have levels of confidence in science. This is a scale, Adam, right here. So we got high confidence over here in the green, and low confidence over in there. Isn't confidence subjective?
Oh yeah.
How can that be when the scientific method is purely objective? Huh.
He's been compromised.
Yep. He was compromised before he started.
How much can we trust on what science is saying?
No, science doesn't say shit. That's one problem you have. My God, sir.
particular kind of evidence. And if
Is that what they teach at MIT and Harvard? Maybe we got to make a stop up there. Tighten their shot groups. Yeah. That was rhetorical.
you try to address a question in science, and you're
a question in science? What questions?
Able to meet these 6 criteria, it gives you greater confidence in the result you come up with. And conversely, if you don't address these 6 criteria, it's kind of a spectrum here, but you can end up on the very low end where the evidence doesn't give you much.
That's where they're at now. Is that what you said?
You got a spectrum.
Is that what you said, Adam?
Scientism.
I rumpushed you, Adam. I said, did you say that that's where they're at now, right down here? Go ahead, Adam.
To imply that the level of confidence is on a spectrum, do not understand science, isn't it?
Yeah. What gave it away? Didn't the buck and him being the chief scientist as an engineer, that didn't get it away for you?
I like the way the books lined up so that the word evolution aligns with directly observable. That's going to be it.
You think he did that purposely?
I don't know. Caught my eye.
All right.
Confidence at all. And the people making this rebuttal video, I don't think they particularly want to pick on these individual criteria.
Why would they have to? If they do start to pick on these individual criteria, ipso facto, they're as clueless as you.
You see earlier when I said they use the word and it starts to mean nothing, right? Look at the title of the slide. Criteria to determine the level of confidence in all science. Implying that it doesn't mean science, just all science. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't reply to a particular field. That these criterion could, in the fields of psychology, it might be very useful. Yeah, but this term, the way they're using it, means nothing. It's just blur. It's not even stealing any valor to me, Flatsy. It's just blur in studying stuff. Is what it's become.
Okay, I'll remember that. Just blur.
Blur.
Studying. Look, criteria to determine the level of confidence when studying stuff. That's what it actually means.
Yeah, this is pretty stupid.
Because I think they're very simple and clear and logical. Like, for example,
post a syllogism.
No one's going to argue that if you can't repeat some evidence, if you can't
repeat the evidence, huh? Like if I show you a banana, but it's not a banana until I show you it again, or do I have to get another banana? Or do I just have to have you close your eyes?
Blink.
Blink. Yeah, this is really silly. That's a stupid statement. Repeat the evidence. Oh, boy.
Can't reproduce some evidence that could...
No. See, in the actual scientific method, in empirical, what empirical means, shout out to Adam, it's observable, testable, repeatable, and falsifiable. That repeatable, number 3, is associated with number 2. That means you have to be able to reproduce the experiment, not the evidence. Done.
Gives you greater confidence, right? So it's just obvious that being able to repeat something gives you greater confidence.
Oh, yeah, boy.
No.
When you blink, more confidence.
Oh, at what point? I suppose his statement is fundamentally correct because it needs to be repeatable. It's part of the prerequisite of the methodology, right?
What methodology?
But if you're going to do something within the scientific method, right, the way you describe the setup, it kind of needs somebody to have some validity. You couldn't set something up that you couldn't ever repeat. Yeah?
Oh, you're
so
searching.
The only confidence difference could be that if you can't repeat it, and this is what are we repeating?
No, he said repeat the evidence, Adam. You're not paying attention.
Well, that's what I'm getting to. That's kind of why I stopped mid-sentence, just pondering on what he said. Repeat the evidence.
Yeah, I already went over it. You know, the banana thing I just did.
What? So I've got to eat. If I wanted to prove to you that bananas are edible, I'd have to eat 2.
Yes. Or you can eat one, wait till he blinks, and then start eating it again. I think we're still good.
Oh, you've got to eat one as well.
Directly observable criteria here. This one might be a little more subtle. And I'm not trying to say here that you literally have to see it with your own eyes.
Why? That's what Niels Bohr said.
What?
What? Directly observable, but not looking at it with your eyes. Adams are what? I think we went over what Niels, but you guys gonna have me track that down again? I'll do it. Bam. 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 Now where is it? Good Lord. Oh, I think I know where it is. All right, let's go back there. Pretender clowns, semantics, natural law. That's some profundity right there. Empirical, Adam's favorite section. This one right here.
Love that section.
The pseudosciences, astronomy, and cosmology. That's not the only 2, but those are there for a reason. But I digress. All right, where are you at? Where is Niels Bohr at? Around here somewhere. Oh, he's close. Aha! Right here. So, from Niels Bohr, Nobel laureate, physics, science, and the ultimate reality, quantum theory. No phenomenon, Dr. Rob, is a phenomenon unless it is an observed phenomena. Period. Hard stop. I don't think you're much of a scientist, Dr. Rob. You got Niels Bohr turning in his grave.
Although that's probably the most confident of the results, right?
Most confident of the results? Results of what? Do you think observing something is a result?
See? You see?
Super chat.
So, yeah, I forgot all about it. Honey, we got a super chat. Thank the Lord.
Tony Whitcomb sent, well, at least I directly observed a mud skipper walk up the beach to the airport and jumped in an F-16 and took on the whole Middle East with its flipper on the trigger.
Is Tony doing some ayahuasca?
It says Middle East, but I'm guessing he meant East.
Thanks, Tony. A mud skipper. Yeah, you're on some ayahuasca. Mud skipper. I got a vision in my head of what a mud skipper is. Is a mud skipper the same in America as it is in England?
I don't know what it is.
Well, let's look that thing up. I think I got a vision of what it is. I may be wrong. Images. Mud skip. Yeah, that's what I thought. It has some weird eyes and stuff. I remember that.
Super chat.
Super mud skipping.
All right. So we got Sasha sent, indirect observation leads you to conceptual fact.
Nicely done. Who the hell? Look at this. What the hell is what? Got no lip. I'll bet you Gutsick Gibbon is related to a mud skipper. They don't got any lips either. See that? See the relationship?
What's going on? Yeah, it's just getting a bit spooky now. Nobody's got any lips anywhere. Night of the lip snatchers.
Oh boy, we went off the rails there for a second. All right, we're back.
But the more directly you measure a result, the greater the confidence.
The more directly you measure, yeah, I'm pausing. Yeah, you were talking about observable. Not, I'll hand it to you next, Adam. You just changed. He just changed the topic on us, Adam.
This is why I changed or paused mid critique, because I don't think he knows whether he's talking about the experiment or, as you highlighted there, the observed phenomena. I don't think. See, to him, it can't be the latter, because it's not a prerequisite to observe this thing in nature, as he's pointing out. So he can only be talking about any kind of, well, it's going to be point 3, studying it, whatever it means, yeah? So the thing you're studying, you don't have to necessarily directly observe it. So like birds breeding, yeah, you've not got to watch each one of them at it. That's, I think, the level that we're at.
No, you missed it, Adam. There was a more profound point, and I pointed out my profundity with it, that he talked about, that he was talking about, this is on the directly observable. He just changed it to measure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he changed the topic.
No, did he?
Yeah.
Did he? In his own mind, did he? Or are we just realising he doesn't know what he's talking about? Because one minute you think he's observing a phenomena, and the next he's just making sure if you observe better, you can get better results.
Now he said measurement, Adam. Hey, listen,
what I mean, so he's jumped. So at which stage are we going to measure things?
Now, wait a second, Adam. I just pulled the J. Now listen to what he says closely.
Although that's probably the most confident of the results, right? But the more directly you measure a result, the
more directly you measure a result, he was on observable. See, his pin's still on there. That's two different things. Now, you do observe measurement, but observations aren't measurements. He flipped the script. Follow, Adam? Now, what you said was correct. I'm just saying he flipped what he was talking about.
I don't know what he's talking about. I'm doing my best to interpret it, which I'm banned from. So
yeah, that's what you're exactly. Now you're getting it. Yeah, don't be interpreting what you think he might think.
The greater the confidence you give. But the people who have rebutted us took this to kind of an extreme, and I'm afraid other people might do that as well.
He falls into this.
Okay, let me introduce to you again the Ass Clown Chuckle Monkeys. There they are, right there for you. You got Erica. She's a dumbass monkey. She thinks all her subscribers are monkeys too, or apes, whatever. We all know who this clown is. He thinks stars spin in opposite directions. Make sure you stay tuned to the book there, Cream of Wheat. When the book comes out, people are going to be slapping the shit out of you everywhere. And then we got Dr. Dan from Creationists, as they're all creationists that are just too stupid to realize it. He's a real number down here, too. But here we go.
Trap. It's literally if a person doesn't actually physically see it with their eyes, it doesn't count. And
not as a natural phenomenon, does it? That's what Niels Bohr said. You know why he said that? Do you know why he said that, Dr. Dan? It's just the crown foundation of all of physics. Quantum mechanics. That's why he said it. Ass clown. Go ahead, Adam.
I've just briefly looked at the slide. On the right, look. The Bible forest of life. And then there's a crap picture in Genesis. Evolution tree of life. And these are their slides, I'm assuming, that they've made. Little crappy tree thing. No direct observations. I mean,
I don't
indict yourself.
I don't know who made that. Adam, that's a good question. I don't know who. Maybe he'll tell us. Go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
That's it. I'm just on that. I mean, it's a very strange false comparison, but to then set it up and then mug yourself off is just probably where we're at.
Wait, is this science right here?
Just looking a bit sciencey, isn't it? blink and check it. It still looks sciencey.
Let's go back. Let's get to what he fully says. We have a tendency to interrupt too. They just say stupid stuff so quickly. We got to stop it every 3 seconds because every 3 seconds something stupid comes out of their mouth.
Kind of an extreme, and I'm afraid other people might do that as well.
He falls into this trap. It's literally if a person doesn't actually physically see it with their eyes, it doesn't count. And like, okay, great, congratulations. Like, toss out paleontology, astronomy, archaeology.
Yes, yeah, exactly. You got it. Yes, exactly. He's right on it. Yeah, that's right. They're all pseudosciences. Yep. Toss them all out. They're all religions. Yep.
Okay, you can see what happens when you take that to an extreme.
That's not an extreme. They're not sciences, but you being not a scientist, you can't recognize what is science or what's not. That's the problem here.
And so let me help to explain this a little better then. Let me give you the example of measuring your blood pressure.
Okay.
Right? That's something medical, I know, but
No way. Honey! Dr. Rob Stadler, he knows something about measuring blood pressure. You ain't gonna believe it. An ass clown.
Direct way to measure blood pressure is to poke a hole in your artery and you insert a catheter, and the catheter may have like a micromanometer on there.
Micromanometer. That's what I was waiting to hear today. That's quite a bit invasive, don't you think, doctor?
Or you use a fluid-filled catheter and you use a manometer outside the body.
He said it twice. He likes manometers.
Yeah, it's one of my favourites. When we were at uni, I remember it being one of the quiz questions at the pharmacy quiz.
Really?
But we had it as the sphygmomanometer. a proper arm cuff. What's the proper name for that? Yeah. Sphygmomanometer. Great word.
Mana. Isn't there a song?
Very appropriate.
Isn't something like mana do something like, where do I get that from? I don't know.
Muppet Show.
Is it Muppet song?
That's why I said it's very appropriate for this.
Yeah, they are Muppets, aren't they? You're right, it is a Muppet. Yeah, it is.
That's direct measurement of pressure, and it's the most accurate, the most confident way to do it. But we as a society have decided that that's too cumbersome, painful.
It's not cumbersome, it's invasive is the word you're looking for.
Maybe risky. So what we do is we put a pressure cuff around your arm, and you squeeze the arm until...
No way!
The artery is closed. And then you start to release the pressure, and the artery will pulse open.
Where's the phenomena?
And close, open and close. It makes these Korotkoff sounds that you can hear.
What did you say? Did he say a sciencey word? Super sciencey word.
He had a cracker in his mouth, sorry. Hemsake sent, hey, upper lipless may be right. Only apes may be able to tolerate her pant hoots.
Thanks for the super chat. You guys are on this upper lipless stuff. Oh, man. Hey, like I said, thanks for the super chat, man. I think he said a sciencey word, Adam. Hold on.
Close, open and close. It makes these Korotkoff sounds.
Korotkoff sounds. You hear that? That's some science right there, man.
You can hear.
What is that?
They sound sciencey, but it's just the bloke who got his name there first. I bet, really, isn't it? That's all it'll be.
Yeah.
From what you hear.
Now you're going to go on and on about it. I thought you were done.
Guessing his first name. Brian's here, by the way. It's out of interest. Even Brian.
Friggin' potato monkey.
Were you taking a swim, Brian? What was the question?
Is the question.
No, I was actually out looking around. I'll explain later.
Thanks, appreciate it.
He was out doing science, observing.
He was out doing science.
Yeah, I was busy out doing science.
Yeah, he usually is. What's his title again? The Defender? It goes, oh, the Defender of the Ignorant. Brian Adams.
As the pressure goes down, you can try to measure the patient's pressure in the artery, right? We're all familiar with that. And I think you can agree with me then that...
What's up with the bitch buds, dude? What's up with that? They're starting to mess with me. They're starting to irritate me.
Measuring pressure in your artery by squeezing it from the outside and listening to sounds is less direct. It's not as confident as if you did it the more direct way, but we've decided to do it the less direct way.
Is that a direct measurement or a direct observation? You confused us the last time.
Because it's less painful. Let me give you another example. Dan, in that clip I just showed, Dan said that this...
Why is his camera shaking? Did you guys see that? Or is it just... we got earthquake here? I don't think so. Watch it. What? It's shake. Go ahead, Adam.
That's naughty. This analogy, isn't it?
I didn't get to the analogy yet.
Oh, his analogy.
He didn't.
One being more direct than the other. It's not really, is it? Because you've suffered the internal manometer, haven't you, to calibrate what it actually means with regards to internal. So the readings you get on the outside and these looks, yeah, it's calibrated to that, yeah, and that then becomes the standard measure. It's no more significantly less accurate. This is naughty because this is nuancing measurement, as if that means anything. Certainly in a medical sense like that. I mean, it's not like I'm going to say, right, well, actually, you could do the same. I could try and measure how long my garden is in Cumberland sausages. And if it was 3.5 Cumberland sausages, because they are long, yeah, but I knew how long a Cumberland sausage was, it's a little different, but ultimately it's yielding the same result.
Yes.
I'm not sure what his point here is.
He doesn't have one, Adam. It's part of his charm. But yeah, he tried to be clever, but he train wrecked himself. Very, very well done, Adam. I might keep you around.
Dan, in that clip I just showed, Dan said that this criteria, directly observable, it throws out paleontology.
Yeah, it does. Paleontology, anthropology, archaeology, geology, evolutionary biology, whatever that is, and yes, I'm still laughing, and theoretical physics throws them all out. All those. Now, the other ones, the other pseudosciences, astronomy, cosmology, and astrophysics, they can directly observe phenomena. That's not their problem. Their problem is they can't formulate an actual scientific hypothesis. That's their problem, but we're not onto those yet.
Like, okay, great, congratulations. Like, toss out paleontology, astronomy.
Yep, both of those. Yep, not with directly observable, because you can observe something phenomena in astronomy, Dr. Dan Dumbass. So you're just giving a long list. You're not thinking.
Archaeology.
Yes, or paleontology, of that list, paleontology, astronomy, and archaeology, 2 were correct. You throw out paleontology and archaeology in this context because they can't directly observe anything. Correct. Not astronomy, they can observe stuff. Adam, I'm dealing with absolute retards on both sides here.
I'm trying to do as requested, which is to hold that comment until I know what he is on about. Because remember, this guy is actually rebutting.
Yes.
The 3 actual numpty.
The 3, get it right, Adam. The ass clown chuckle monkeys.
That's not true. Let's say that you want to study, just making up something here. Let's say you want to study.
You've been making it. That's what you've been doing the whole time.
Sexual dimorphism.
What? This is a family show. What the hell did he just say?
I was sold for critique at the word study, but then when you study, what was it, sexual dimorphism? I'm starting to go, dude, come on. Let's get the pink lettering out. So if sexual dimorphism, then what?
Oh my God, man. Let's get that whole thing again.
Toss out paleontology, astronomy, archaeology.
That's right. You got to toss them out. I told you that before.
It's not true. Let's say that you want to study, just making up something here. Let's say you want to study sexual dimorphism in Miocene apes.
What the hell is a Miocene ape?
He's so good. You've just got to roll with it, haven't you? Go on, John.
Isn't that the Miocene era that you'd have to presuppose that timeline existed to even see that?
Yeah. It's a special type of ape. It's Miocene.
If that is what you wake up in the day wanting to do, you've got problems.
You think?
Not normally till mid-afternoon I start to think about stuff.
Because you're deviant.
I mean, what would it possess you to get like that? What would possess you to come up with that thought? You know, I think today that I study Miocene apes. That sounds like, what have you nothing else to do? I mean, that's ridiculous.
No, you don't have the whole thing. It's studying the sexual dimorphism in Miocene apes.
Isn't that akin to saying we're going to study the sexual dimorphism of the satyrs in Narnia today?
Oh man, that was really good. You know what? I needed that. That was it. Thanks, Rob. That was really good. Thank you.
In his defense, is he not setting this up as the point that we're ridiculing as well?
I don't. It's got to be a dig against the upper lipless one. Got to be.
Yeah.
Let's get the whole thing again. I don't know if I can make it through. I'll do it anyway.
That's not true. Let's say that you want to study, just making up something here. Let's say you want to study sexual dimorphism in Miocene apes.
He can barely do it.
He's capping as well, isn't he? Look, he knows he's being cheeky. He's being a little bit naughty, isn't he? He's taking the mick out of him there.
Yeah, that's true. That's all right. I'll do it this time. I promise. I'll let it go through. I'm gonna go on mute. All right.
That's not true. Let's say that you want to study, just making up something here. Let's say you want to study sexual dimorphism in Miocene apes. That happens to be what Erica studies, by the way.
Oh shit! There you go. Yeah.
Oh, you see? He's a bitch, isn't he?
He's a bitch.
I love it. He might have his faults, but he's a little bit naughty, isn't he? I like it. Yeah. Please, now I've read, he's got to ridicule it and point it out, the points we're making. Yeah? He has to, surely.
Yeah. And that's what she studies? She studies that's her area of expertise, is the sexual dimorphism of Miocene apes. Oh boy, we are off the fucking reservation, boy.
But to study the difference between female.
What do you want, John?
There's nothing wrong with that. I've been in Narnia for a bit, and I've been studying the breeding habits of the satyrs and the beavers, and I've given long lectures about that. So I'm a subject matter expert. Oh yeah, the beavers. They're talking beavers, not the same as you have in your world.
They have some sexual dimorphism too.
That's not her word, is it? Yeah. She wouldn't know that. He's taking the piss, which is why he's probably explained the jokes too quickly afterwards. I'm guessing. Yeah. Basically, what does that mean? Yeah. It's exactly what I said earlier. She just collects monkey skulls, boys and girls, and goes, "Oh look, they're a bit different."
This is the Muppet Show, ladies and gentlemen. This is where these clowns. This is a clown show.
I'm liking them. This is like getting roasted by nerds, isn't it?
Yeah, for them.
Males in a species of apes.
Species? What definition are you using? There's about 150 of them. Since it was coined by Aristotle circa 250 BC. Which one are you using? Ass clown.
You can collect the fossils, right?
Fossils?
And you can measure the size of the femur.
They're just measuring the size of the femur. I'm not gonna make it through this, man. Not gonna be able to do it. Let's try though. I'm starting to get Mike peckish here too. Those carrots are on the menu.
And you can directly observe that the male female.
You can directly observe the left behinds of dead things. What's that tell you?
Femur is bigger than the female femur.
The male femur is bigger than the female femur. What if you had a gargantuan bitch? What happens then? Anyone? I'll let that one go.
Just making this up. But the point.
Yeah, we know.
Point is, that's a pretty direct measurement because you're trying to answer the question, what's the difference between male and female in this species? And that can be.
That's the question. I'm kind of lost. Is you guys still out there in Discord? Are you listening to this?
It's a perfectly eloquent example of how you'd answer the question. What's the difference in the femur size of male and female monkeys?
How did they know
this time?
What if he had a femur? What if he had? How do you know it's not a femur from a gargantuan bitch ape?
I don't care, but because fundamentally, it's got nothing to do with science at all. It's looking at presumed monkey bones.
This is so stupid.
And yes, I might want to measure those monkey bones, but just because I've got an empirical measurement, of those monkey bones doesn't then mean I'm doing science. It means I'm measuring monkey bones and I'm making stuff up based on the size of the monkey bones.
It's trying to tell us sex from a femur. It's idiotic. May I present to you, Adam, the gargantuan ape monkey bitch?
How do you know she's a bitch?
That's what I'm saying. How do they know? Oh my God.
Think repeatably and directly observably, and even
you can repeatably and directly observably. What?
Somewhat prospectively, and so you can have a pretty confident answer there.
You can. What was the question again?
Eyes of.
Go ahead.
You can have a very accurate answer. You can say that for all the pre-assumed monkey femurs that we've collated, given them a gender assignment, men measured them, we can say the average of this difference between our categorization is this much. And you can say that with a great deal of confidence.
Oh my God. Let's go through this again without me stopping it so you get the full, I mean FOOL. Nonsensical bullshittery. This is utter nonsense.
Just making this up.
No, we're in
the point
agreement.
You can agree with utter bullshit.
No, I'm not. He's presenting this of what they do, isn't he? Tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
He's saying you can measure monkey bones.
Yeah, that's lovely. I got that part, Adam. Thanks.
They painted it as science, haven't they? And I think he's addressing what we'd address. No, paleontology isn't science.
Let's let him run through.
That's a pretty direct measurement because you're trying to answer the question, what's the difference between male and female in this species?
You're trying to answer the question whether that monkey was a male or a female. You don't even know what the question is.
And that can be done, I think, repeatably and directly observably, and even somewhat
repeatably and directly observably of monkey bones. Oh my God.
Prospectively. And so you can have a pretty confident answer there.
You didn't have a coherent question.
But if you take a different topic in paleontology, like let's say I want to answer the question, did dinosaurs evolve into birds?
That's the disappointment, isn't it? He's pointed out what you're doing. He's not pointing out, and that's not science, even though that was the point he's rebutting. So you have to finish with that, mate. That's the killer. And as you can see, that's not a cause and effect relationship that we're ascertaining.
And all of a sudden, science is asking questions. Where's question? Go ahead, Flatsy. Sorry.
I just feel like he thinks so highly of what he's saying, like it's profound or something.
Yeah. That was a really stupid thing you said, sir. Let's go back. I'm going to give myself a J. Let's hear that again.
Topic in paleontology. Like, let's say I want to answer the question.
Why would you want to answer this question?
Did dinosaurs evolve into birds?
What's dinosaur?
Gosh.
What's evolve mean? Could you answer those two questions first before you get to the overall train wreck question? It's nonsense. And who's asking that question anyway? I can dream up a question. How long were Ducal Slopelgert's shin bones in comparison to the Ducal Slopelgerts of the Miocene age?
That's what science asks.
3 Gerts. Scientifically proven. 3 Gerts.
3 gigahertz.
Okay.
Oh, and science answered.
Science did answer.
Your question. That's a situation where can I do some direct observation? Well, not even.
Yeah. Well, you came up with it from your imagination. You can directly observe it in your imagination. So what's wrong with that?
Close, really. What I have is a bunch of bones buried in the ground, and I collect those bones. The bones are evidence of a dead thing.
Exactly. I used to do that to evolutionists back in the day. I said, it's just a dead thing, dude. It's not fossil. It's a concrete noun. No pun intended.
Something that died. And I'm trying to use that evidence in answer.
What do you mean evidence? What do you mean it's evidence? It's evidence that something.
Of a dead thing.
Okay, fair enough.
It's definitely dead.
Fair enough. It's evidence of a dead thing. Cool. Okay. What else, Adam?
What's it? It's definitely dead.
Yeah, it died.
Definitely. Science said so.
Like, I'm going to science this shit out. It's dead.
Something that died. And I'm trying to use that evidence in answering that question.
Answering what? Oh, the question, the one that you made up.
Tell me about how did a living thing come into being?
That's not what you asked. You said, how did he evolve? How did dinosaurs evolve into chicken wings? That's what your question was.
Wingies.
Yeah. That's what he's lost the plot. He keeps forgetting what topic he's discussing, Adam.
Well, I got something. Science says that wingies, that's evidence of a dead thing. Therefore, dinosaurs evolved into birds.
It's going to be evidence of an 8 thing here on Thursday.
So I have evidence of dead stuff, trying to...
Yeah, evidence of dead stuff, and then what?
Use that to conclude how a living thing came into being.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
I think you can see there's layers of abstraction there.
No, really?
And what I'm observing is...
Is there layers of abstraction there, Adam? My God, man. My God. Man, I'm getting hungry.
Again, it's a polite way of saying that there's just nothing between the two things. Yeah, you then just make shit up to get from A to B. There is nothing that you can evidence as to why you go from A to B. You're just digging up bones.
Yep, that's it.
A bit like the first one, really. And making assumptions. Whether that be female, that these people from the same, these monkeys were from the same time. Yeah, unless you go like to the monkey graveyard. You know what I mean? Then you're making even assumptions that they're even of the same. You know what I mean? It's absolute. Everything's assumptive in these things. Because, like I say, all you're doing is digging shit up out of the ground. The only assertion you can make, really, is that they're definitely dead. It's gone for a food order, haven't you?
Can you make that assertion with absolute certainty, though, Adam, that it's dead?
Pretty much, yeah. Being honest.
Mumbling about, I just put my order in.
That's what you dig up. If you dig up a worm, no. I'm going to go with that's alive.
I've dug up.
Refracted.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say refracted. If science will pop up and say it, then yeah.
We just got to get science to say that these bones come from dead things, and then we can know that for pretty sure. Pretty sure. We can't know it for certain because science doesn't
Because science doesn't prove things. You almost got it out. Bunch of ass clouds.
Not at all directly what I'm trying to answer.
Yeah, you forgot the question. You changed the question. It wasn't about existence. It was about dinosaurs changing into chicken wings.
Imagine, right, if you could have a dino wing. You'd only need one on the barbecue. It'd be like that Cumberland sausage, just like one giant wingy.
It'd be like a pterodactyl wing.
That's what I mean. Imagine that. Covered in barbecue sauce.
I don't think so. From the videos that I seen of pterodactyls, it was more like a bat wing. Like, you know, it wasn't no meat on there. It was like leather skin.
Yeah, what a velociraptor arm.
It'd be like chewing a hockey puck.
So using paleontology to answer a question like, did dinosaurs evolve into birds?
Now you're back on the topic, and that's an idiotic question, and you don't ask questions in science. That's not part of the scientific method. Now maybe for science buddies, yeah, but it's moronic. You formulate hypotheses. Hypotheses ain't questions.
That is very low confidence because you can't repeat dinosaurs.
Well, you can't repeat what?
Evolving into birds. You can't directly observe it.
You can't repeat dinosaurs evolving into birds, huh? Oh, boy.
Happening. You can't study it prospectively and so on.
Prospectively.
So just to go a little layers deeper there to help explain what I meant by this.
That cleared everything up.
Does it mean you can't see it full stop? It's not there. There's no evidence. Sticking bones together. Why? Earlier you said that this is enablement.
Yep.
Yeah. There's still the postulation there. It's just you can't do it that way. Is kind of what he's saying, and that's naughty. You just take it apart. Maybe not as directly as us, but he's not, is he? This is allowing the premise to stand.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Directly observable. So does anybody...
He's making an ass out of himself.
They actually think that if you can't directly measure something, you're better off...
Here we go. Directly measuring. He's going to conflate it. He's confusing topics within the same breath. This says directly observable, not measure. Not directly measured. Now, if you want to, you could have added that. Got those carrots. He could add that. You see, Adam, he continues to do that. He forgot the question. He's substituting another point, directly measure for directly observable. He keeps doing that. Can somebody
compromise himself? Can somebody with his fix?
Can somebody get Doc Brown in here and we could send him back with some Adderall to help this guy out? All right, go ahead, Adam. Ooh, those carrots are hot.
He seems to these 6 things that he keeps coming back to, that he's trying to validate as methodology to prove something, which isn't science. I don't know what it is. It's when you're making shit up, yeah, you need these things, yeah? Is he applying this to dinosaurs now, yeah? And this is the point. His scientific approach appears to be applicable to researching the evolution of dinosaurs into birds. Whereas from my understanding of the scientific method, that concept, that question isn't applicable to the scientific method full stop. It's a category error.
Of course.
Using these criteria, he can't even say that dinosaurs are dead.
Took one of their legs out of the ground. If they're not dead, they're one-legged.
He can't say it, but science can.
Surely we can say that the leg's dead.
All right, stop being silly.
You have more confidence than if you can directly measure it? I don't think so. So,
does this say directly, Dr. Rob, does this say directly measure or directly observable? He's still confused.
I don't think they're trying to actually argue that point. Number 3 here is prospective study. And when you do a study prospectively...
That's an epidemiological study. That's not science. They do mainly prospective studies in epidemiology.
Would be prospective study of frog breeding.
Yep.
When beaver population increases.
Yep. Yep, that's not science either, brother.
It gives you the power to control variables, to block out anything that's confounding. It's going to confuse.
Oh, does it?
In one area, you kill all the beavers, or you kidnap them, take them to another area, right? And then you measure how much frog spawn there is the following summer.
He did say variables and controls, right?
I controlled it. I took all the beavers from one area, put them in the other place. They got double the beaverage than they previously had, and then I measured the frog spawn rate the following year over the years. It's obvious. Controlling it, measuring it, science.
Use things, and if you really control everything of importance,
so you got controls. Where at?
Actually can conclude causality with your study.
What? Uh-oh, we got to go back at him.
Hey.
All right, let's hear this again.
Anything that's confounding, it's going to confuse things. And if you really control everything of importance, you actually can conclude causality with your...
No, you can't. All you did was mention controls. You ain't controlling everything any damn way. In your imagination.
Demonstrate causality?
No, he's just he doesn't. He didn't give an example. It's just generalized horseshit. There's nothing solid here. Let's see if he gives an example.
Your study. In other words, this caused that.
Yeah, that is natural science, glue sniffer. This causes that. You got it. Finally got there. He doesn't know it, though, but he said it.
You know what? No, it's just the language he's using. Number 3 should be experiment, not prospective study. If he's going to be talking about causality, take it to experiment. Yeah? Not a study. Why would you pick the word study, QE?
I don't know.
No. Because you know you can't do an experiment. That's what a study is. And you just, as you alluded to, epidemiology, perfect place where you know you're going to do a study.
Yep.
You're not going to directly test and manipulate anything. You're just going to measure parameters that you've defined that may or may not be significant or indicatory to the thing you want to conclude.
Yeah.
That's what a study does.
Because you've controlled and gotten rid of everything else that could get in the way.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
No, but that's the point, and that's why I use that silly analogy. In a study, yeah, you do take all the beavers away, and that's your controlling it. And now, because the water flows faster, the frog spawn can't coagulate on the banks, and therefore the frog population goes down. That's a study, and we did that, yeah. That's the kind of level you're at. And when you're talking about confidence levels, well, how confident are we that a high beaver population means we'll have a healthy frog population? Oh, because of this study, that's the realms we're in, which is not science.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's like, well, how are you coming to a conclusion when all you're doing is testing all the things it ain't? Is that what he's saying?
Well, he's not mentioning the most important variables. He's not doing anything. They're not manipulating anything. So it's not science, period.
So let me give you an example of that from the presentation we made.
Okay.
When Richard Lenski found that some of the bacteria became capable of...
You're going with Lenski's bacteria, really? That's pretty cool. Remember that, Adam? Remember I tore it out to shreds? That was a lot of fun.
Of metabolizing citrate.
Yeah, metabolizing citrate, yeah. Cytochrome. Yeah, we went through all this back in the day. You ain't telling us anything new.
He could actually go back and put genes into the bacteria.
Genes? What? Where'd they get genes from? I thought Lenski was a evolutionary biologist. He's a naturalist. What's he doing?
Those genes.
Yeah. In the Knickerbockers.
Yeah. Like the Slit gene that...
Yeah. It makes integral membrane proteins. So it can uptake citrate in an anaerobic environment.
Is able to bring citrate into the cell.
I know.
And then the DCTA gene that brings succinate into the cell.
Succinate? This is a family show.
You could put those in and demonstrate causality.
You can put those in and demonstrate causality. Causality of what?
Like these bacteria, when I put these two genes in... I now have the ability to metabolize citrate. So this...
It already had the ability to metabolize citrate. Mr. Citrate. Citrate. How you say it, Adam? Did we catch him again?
Adam would say citrate.
Leaving his post without being properly relieved again. Son of a... We're staying here till he comes back.
As his temporary legal representative, Adam would say citrate.
We can't take that as evidence just yet.
Is it sort of like if you put somebody's hand in water while they're asleep, they'll pee on themselves? Therefore, the cause of peeing is people put their hands in water? Is that what he's getting at?
No.
Caused that. And that's what you can do with prospective study.
No.
And you can't do that with retrospective study. You just can't have that kind of control over things. And let me give you an example of that. And this is just an example.
This is some bullshit right here, man. So what's got? Hey, stop it! What the hell is this? You got some Vulcans in here and stuff. He's got. Is this one the dumbass? Is this the smallest brain one? Shout out to Brian. Is this the dumbass?
One of them's made of gold. That fourth one's made of gold, man.
Oh boy. All right, let's go back. Let's get the whole story here. This is science. Pay attention.
And let me give you an example of that. And this is just an example. But if I collect a number of skulls like you see here, these are obviously very retrospective. We're looking far back into time.
We looking back into time. Where's the clock at? No, you got busted again, mister. Not pause. Pause. You left your post without being properly relieved, sir.
I've run out of beer again.
All right, the question.
I come back and these.
Now, wait a second. Before we go, I'm going to give you a J. We're going to get back to this, so don't worry about it. But the question was put to you. How do you pronounce, is it either citrate or citrate? How do you guys pronounce it in La La Land?
So, in the treatment of cystitis in ladies, you'd use potassium citrate.
See? I knew it. Brian stuck up for you. He said you'd use citrate. You know the correct pronunciation? But Brian was wrong, shockingly.
Not citrate, citrate.
I call it citrate.
Kind of control over things.
From lemon juice.
Yet neither's right or wrong.
Yeah.
Let me give you
Nice.
I just made a big thing out of it because I wanted to know how you pronounced it, but you left your post without being properly relieved.
God damn it, eh? Every time I'm getting caught tonight. It's bad.
That's the second one, yeah. See, what you got to do, you got to wait for Brian to pipe in, right? And then he goes, pause. I got to say something. I'll make it quick. As soon as you hear I'll make it quick, that's when you go do shit. Because
he'll say, I got one thing here. Well, actually, two things.
Well, I'll get Brian talking.
And if you need to bake a cake during the presentation, that's the time you leave, Adam.
I was wooed by the depth in my glass. Lovely.
I'm just telling you, that's the time you leave, because Brian, he's going to go on and on and on and on and on. He's going to tell you, then tell you again, and then tell you what he told you, and then he's going to do it all over again.
That's his charm.
It is.
Got to make sure you comprehend it.
Exactly, Neil. There's too many dummies out.
I know. There he is. Oh, the defender of the ignorant.
Well, I got something for Brian, because Angels of Light is running around telling everybody he came up with the pitch data argument and brought it to you, and you ran with it.
Really?
Pitch data is not an argument.
Yeah.
Pitch data is not an argument.
That's pretty funny, though. Yeah, that's pretty funny, though, Brian. Even though it's not an argument, it's still pretty funny.
Yeah, I suppose he has to usurp it. You know, he's trying to be something, whoever he works for. He's trying to be somebody. He's not. Idiot.
All right. The focus now. We'll get back on the topic. All right. Don't do that again, Neil.
And this is just an example. But if I collect a number of skulls like you see here, these are obviously very retrospective. We're looking far.
I can hear Adam in the background. Pause.
Why has the one in the middle got sunglasses on?
That's not the one in the middle, Adam. That's the one towards the left. Right here. Do you think this is the middle, Adam?
That one looks just like got black eyes, like Panda Bear.
Yeah. He got a little. he got
Ray-Bans on.
He got a little uppity with his other half, and he got what he deserved right there. But go on.
That was it.
Because
which one's my great uncle?
This dumbass right here, because the 150cc brain. That's the problem.
Far back into time. But I found these skulls, and I can line them up.
Wait a second. You found these far back in time? Did they got a clock on them or something? Where's the clock at? I don't.
What's the fifth? The fifth one looks like an alien grey.
Where are you counting from? From the left or the right?
Looks like Brian, the fourth one.
Wait, are you going from? Shut up! Shut up! You going from left to right or right to left?
Platsy's the little one on the left.
Platsy.
Yeah. Then I'm going to go with you next. You're the second one. Then me there. Brian's definitely, because he's got a really big head. And then that's got to be Neil then. A little grey looking one.
Brian's got a big head.
Brian has. Didn't mean that in a derogatory way. He's got a large DC capacity.
Yeah, the brain expanded, so the head has to be big.
All right, who's this? Who's this one? Is that you?
By default, we went with Neil.
Like this, and you see an association between them. You might even.
What's the association?
They've all got eye sockets.
Is the clock or the watch inside them? Remember, he said based on time.
And say there's a progression here.
There's a progression here. Really?
That's very generous language. I mean, I'd struggle to go past this 5 different looking skulls.
You think he's reaching a bit?
Are you seeing a progression there?
I'm not seeing I'm not seeing a progression either direction.
Conclude there's an association.
Why do you do that? Shut up.
Look, if you were going to make them in a progression, I'd go 1, 2, 5, 4, then that potato head one in the middle.
He looks like a Starship Trooper.
Isn't he? Yeah. We dug up
So you'd go 1, the dumbass. You saying this is Flatsy over here? Then 2, then 5, then 4, and then to the Starship Trooper.
Yeah. If I was going to put it in an order of progression, that would make sense because they're getting a bit bigger, lot, and then a bit rounder, and then like potato head. You can't have potato head in the middle.
Potato head.
You're killing me over here.
I'll tell you what, this has turned out, I thought that this was going to be irritating. It's pissing me off. I had a pretty good time so far today. What about you guys?
I'm thinking we should maybe apply to do a degree in evolutionary biology. I think we've got a little flair, skill for this.
Yeah, I think we do too.
You might even say there's a progression here. And I can conclude there's an association, right?
Really?
They look the same.
They all have the same clocks in their skulls.
Measure the teeth, the eyes, the
eyes? Where's the eyes at? Is he seeing
size?
Is he seeing eyes in here? I guess.
And so forth. I can conclude an association between them. But to conclude causality, which means this turned into this and it evolved into this.
No, wrong. What's evolution mean? No, didn't you hear what Adam said? He said 1, 2, 5, 4, and then to the Starship Trooper.
Evolved into this. That is something that you just can't do with retrospective observation.
This is a retrospective observation. What do you mean? You're looking Doc Brown.
He's looking back into the past.
Adam, is this a retrospective observation?
It's making shit up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just
Well, I better get on studying birth canals.
Where the hell did that come from?
Because the shape of the skulls.
the observations is the observation of the skull. Other than that, there is no observation. There's nothing to link one observation of any one skull to anything of the other. And to nuance and a transition between one and the other is something that cannot be observed. Hasn't been observed, won't be, because they're just different bloody skulls.
I know what to do to make it science. Put arrows in between these. One arrow there, 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 and there. That would be science.
Be more sciencey.
Yeah.
It'd tell me the story you're wanting me to believe, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. It would be science. That's right.
Only a well-controlled perspective study allows you to do that. And
that's horseshit.
And to be a little tongue-in-cheek here, please excuse me. I want to have a little fun. Don't take this too seriously. But I can do.
We haven't been taking this seriously the whole time, dude. Don't worry about it.
Do a similar thing with a bag of Cheetos. I open the bag of Cheetos.
That's funny.
I have to admit, that's a freaking good one. Yeah, I have to give it to him. Yeah. So this one, so you put arrows between these, right? This one, eventually, after millions and billions of years, evolved into that. Cheeto. Nicely done.
And I lay out an association like this. You see this? And I could claim, look at this. This Cheeto evolved into this, and it evolved all the way into here. It's starting to develop appendages.
Yeah, nice. It developed appendages. Yeah, too funny, man. Nicely done. I have to give you one up. We've been dogging him out the whole time as part of the ass clown community, but you got to admit, well, sun shines on a dog's ass every now and again. You're eventually going to fall ass backwards into something right. And this
He's got it wrong, though.
Say again?
He's got it wrong, though. Those are not Cheetos. Those are fried Cheetos.
No, brother.
They're moving in herds.
But
that was good.
Those were Cheetos.
Watch me get copyright struck with it for this.
They're moving in herds.
That's pretty friggin' good, man. All right, +2.
But it's not.
Adam, do you like that?
I was laughing my booty off there. That's funny.
It was good. Good job.
It has some similarities to what I'm showing above here. We can conclude association, but there's no way you can conclude causality from something so retrospective as this. So I don't think anybody's going to argue then that a retrospective study gives you more confidence than a prospective study. And I don't think these guys are trying to pick on us about that either.
They don't know what a prospective study is. Apparently you don't either.
And then, of course, nobody is going to argue that having more bias or stronger bias gives you a more confident result.
What if my mood ring says that I'm biased today?
That's ridiculous. Nobody's going to argue that taking on more assumptions or hiding your assumptions gives you a more confident result.
Oh, they're different things.
Yep.
Yeah, but then this is the beauty of the scientific method, because in all of the history of people doing science, all of those people were biased. Yeah? Otherwise, they wouldn't set the bloody experiment up in the first place. They didn't have a level of bias. But that's the point of the methodology, to remove their bias.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
But their bias is relevant to the proof, the experiment. The experiment will yield a result, a proof. Yeah? Irrespective of their bias.
Yeah.
That's also kind of crazy. And then these reasonable claims, this is about how you summarize your results.
Is this a summary? You make reasonable claims from this horseshit.
And I actually like what Dan said in the video. He said this is like not getting out over your skis.
You've been out over these. They don't even know what skis are, let alone get out over top of them.
Reasonable claims, right? Don't get out over your skis in terms of drawing conclusions. Fair enough.
Drawing conclusions? Aren't the conclusions right there in front of your face?
Is he talking about whiskey?
I don't know.
But he then says, these claims are unreasonable because he doesn't define reasonable.
What claims are unreasonable? What the hell are you even talking about? What number 6? I'm confused. That's rhetorical. Please don't try to. Don't just stand down.
Reasonable claims means if you study in a certain area under certain conditions, your claims involve those conditions. They don't involve.
The claims involve the conditions. I'm confused.
Conditions way over here that you actually didn't study, and you're getting out over your skis, so to speak. And I don't think anybody's going to say that science has more confidence when you get out over your skis.
No one says that, especially just you.
When you make claims that you actually didn't study.
Because of you.
This is for you, Brian.
Millions of people have heard the gospel. If you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that he's risen from the dead, and you will be saved. That's right. That's the requirement. We talk
That's correct.
About science concepts which draw people.
Now we're into science concepts. What are some science concepts?
Heathen for life.
People in, take these nanomachines and have them drill into cells. This would be a great way to kill cancer, right? We also talk about Jesus Christ, who's the best in everything. My faith in Jesus Christ means more to me than anything. If you could continue to give or give for the first time, we would certainly appreciate it. You can go to jesusandscience.org. Thank you so much.
Hey, Jesus and Science?
That's what he said.
Wow.
So these 6 criteria.
Is this the science you were talking about? Jesus and this? Is that what you meant? Oh boy. Talking about out over your skis.
Yeah, I'm going to continue to argue are applied to all of science. And
shout out to Adam, all of science.
I think they give you much more confidence in science when you meet these criteria. So those who are opposing us are a bit conflicted because they don't want these criteria to be applied. I think that's the real.
Well, they're right, because it doesn't have anything to do with it. As soon as they address the first thing on here, they're compromised. So I guess we can thank you. Thank you for sacrificing your dumbass self.
Challenges. They don't like having these criteria be applied because that means.
How do you know what complete strangers like or dislike?
Some evidence gets deprioritized and other kinds of evidence gets prioritized.
What? Give an
Must be
example.
talking to Brian.
Second.
He must have been talking to Brian.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was talking to Brian. Yep. Sue's saying in the catching people's motivations, complete strangers.
That's what comes out of this. So like fossil record and comparison.
Where's the fossil record at? Let's see it. Is it record like an LP?
I was just going to say, is it a 45 or is it an album?
Of genomes in order to try to.
Genomes? They're naturalists. Where'd they get genes from? It'd be better. Where'd you get sugars from? Than the nucleobases. I want to see those arrive naturally. That's what I want to see. So it comes light years before genes, sunshine.
To show common ancestry.
What?
Dirt.
Adam got me. I should have hit him with it. Sometimes I can't help myself, man. You know? The cross that I have to bear.
Those kind of things are going to get deprioritized.
What? The dirt?
with this process. So their approach in this video to refute us, first approach is to try to just get these criteria out of the way and say, these criteria only apply to medicine.
What?
They only apply to medicine, they don't apply to me, and then I don't have to worry about it.
Sort of. It's sort of that way, not a broad brush, but yeah, there's a lot of epidemiological studies in the medical community. Yep.
That's what they're doing with pseudoscience and science.
Yeah.
When they're like cosmologists, they're like, oh, this doesn't apply to me.
Sorry, I didn't know you. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
2 months. Yeah, like, an astrophysicist would say, well, yeah, surely the scientific method doesn't apply to me specifically like this. That does, they do the same thing.
Are you like in a glue factory? Stop sniffing that shit.
Get to that. We should comment on this, the levels of evidence in medicine. And remember, his background is biomedical engineering and developing medical devices. And we don't have to listen to it, but he basically...
What's your dumbass background? Did we figure out what his background was, Adam? Remember he called himself... Go ahead.
Was it? No, he had... His doctorate was in something... Oh, I can't remember.
Oh, it was in evolutionary biology, right?
Yeah.
What?
And now YouTuber.
What's that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What is evolution? Like I said, you can watch any evolution quote unquote meat hook debate from the beginning, from way back in the 60s and the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all the videos. Try to listen and see if you can detect whenever they define evolution, then provide the scientific theory of evolution. I challenge anyone. Not going to happen. Yeah, they never define it, and they never provide the scientific theory. Of course, they don't know what scientific theories are, so they're kind of compromised, but you'll never hear it. You know why? Because they're going to start out with evidence. And since they haven't defined that monkey, any evidence provided is evidence for that thing they haven't defined. It's a really retarded Muppet dipshit trick that everyone falls for.
It's a non sequitur. As lovely a slide as may unfold, but they were now talking about levels of evidence in medicine. Well, that's not science, is it? So
no.
It's not really relevant, other than to indict him, a little like what we've done, and say that's what he seems to be applying. Well, you're applying it to paleontology. The point you should be recognizing, both of you, is it's not that science isn't applicable to that field.
You know what?
Digging up bones, looking at them, and then measuring them, not science.
That was my point in the glue factory. That was what I was saying.
I thought he was in a club. I could just hear stuff going off in the background here. Like.
I had to check. I was hearing some thunder, and you see that red blobs? Kicking my ass over here. All right, sorry. 10 minutes later, he's there. What did you say about that glue factory? That's classic. I didn't say. I think that was Adam that was talking about that.
Basically talks about randomized double-blind controlled trials.
Randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trials. You mean in epidemiology?
Yeah.
Is that what you...
box, and we'll see if it interacts with the thing in the other box.
Yeah. He's a glue sniffer. You didn't say that correctly. By the way, that little spill you just did, that might have, Jedi mind trick your asinine idiot subscribers. But anyone that listens to you speak that has, what are we talking about here? GCSE level, Adam? Education?
Yeah, maybe A level.
Yeah, he's compromised. You're compromised. You're an idiot. That's not science either. What? Go ahead, spit it out now. Use your words.
I've done science.
I've done science. Yeah, right. And Penelope Pitstop is Bruce Lee's grandfather.
I've done science.
He's done science, Adam.
Lots.
And then you got Mr. Asshat up here. Right? What have you done? You done science too, cream of wheat.
I've done science. I've done experimental evolution.
He's done experimental evolution.
Oh. Has he been breeding fruit flies?
I think he's been at a glue factory. Hey, Eli, check around, man. See if you see this bloke in here.
Never done a randomized, double-blind, controlled trial in my...
Forgot the placebo controlled. Yeah, you wouldn't have done that because that's not science either.
Life, because that's not what most scientists do.
That's not what do most scientists do?
Do you guys think that the geochemists
Do you guys
who use radiometric dating in the form of Bayesian model
radiometric dating? That's not science. What's the hypothesis? Let's hear the hypothesis for radiometric dating. Oh, that's also based on probability. That all falls under quantum mechanics. Love, you just train wrecked yourself.
to find out where the biggest oil, coal, and gas deposits are.
Okay, wait a second. This is let's hear this.
We've gone into a parallel dimension here.
Yeah. Let's get all of this and then we'll circle back.
Do you guys think that the geochemists who use radiometric dating in the form of Bayesian modeling to find out where the biggest oil, coal, and gas deposits are to fuel an over $250 trillion economy, right, use a double...
Oh, they must $250 trillion economy. They must be scientists then. So what are they using, these geochemists? That's how she's validating geochemistry. She's an asshat. She sounds like Professor Phil. Because of the cash they spend on satellites. That's why.
Double-blind study when they're trying to figure out where to drill.
A double-blind study? No, that's moronic. They don't do any experiments, that's for sure.
They don't, right? Like you said, this.
Look at Dave right here. He's absolutely clueless. He's got that shit-eating grin on his face. Smile if you're a dumbass.
You know where you might want double-blind trials and studies? Be in medicine, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the thing that levels of evidence. What is this critique? This is what he'd do in his day job. Yeah. Well, why would you do that when you're digging for oil?
What's your control group? The double-blind physics experiment. Yeah, that's what these are. All of these people are ass clowns, ladies and gentlemen. They're pretender clowns. They're frauds.
This is great for medicine, and medicine is super important. And Rob goes off on this one tangent where he's basically like, in so many words, like medicine is the most important science. And it's like, I don't really.
Most important science. Is medicine a science? News to me. You got citation for that? And then prove that it is actual science. Of course, you don't know what natural science is. You wouldn't know what natural science was if it climbed up your arse and started kicking footballs wrapped in Carolina Reaper lace concertina wire. Either you dumbass monkeys. You wouldn't know what it was, so you couldn't answer my question.
really believe in putting science into a hierarchy because I think it all plays specific roles, but I don't think anybody would deny that
science into hierarchies and it all plays specific roles. What the hell does that mean?
You see, what she's talking about is the sciences now. Yeah. So again, and the same word but a completely different meaning. When that's used, it just means the full body of those fields of work. It doesn't invoke science as anything. So you can have the science of pharmaceutics, which is what, that just means the whole body of the work, the sciences. So that's all it means. It doesn't mean that thing. So you've got to be educated to know that when she's saying that, she's not meaning science in the truest sense here. She's just meaning the whole body of collective works within different fields. That's actually what she's saying. And when you say it like that, it kind of isn't this collective body anymore of science, the thing that you're, like she says, stealing valor from. But to me, it has more meaning, proof, evidence behind it.
The hell you say?
that medicine is super, super, super important. It's just
super, 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 super. How many supers is it going to take?
It's not that you don't apply the same methodology across all sciences.
Yeah, you do. It's called the scientific method. But of course, what he's talking about, epidemiology, is not science, and what you're talking about is not science either. That's where the confusion is. Because you're a dumbass.
Okay, so I totally agree that science behaves differently in different fields.
Oh, you agree with that? See what I'm talking about? Enabling science. Now science is behaving, Adam.
How does it behave?
Well, it depends what field it's in, Neil. You're not listening.
Oh my God.
Different approaches, different techniques.
No, there isn't. There's only one scientific method. It goes across every single field of actual sciences. They use the same method. Same exact method. Singular, not plural.
So I totally agree with that, but they're misrepresenting.
You would. They're not. They're misrepresenting. So are you.
Sending that to say that these 6 criteria are constrained, only applied to medicine.
Yeah, the 6 criteria that you pulled out of your ass is only applied to epidemiological studies. Yes. Ah, what's this? Is this like an alien? That's a man. It's a gully washer outside, boy. Ooh-wee. You ain't messing around. You could go out there with a bar of soap. Well, not you, Adam, because you know you don't use soaps. And take.
I think it's hilarious when you feign being startled.
Why? I wasn't feigned. I looked over. I was looking at the, I was trying to find her upper lip. Then I looked over. It looks like an alien. You know. You ever see Predator versus Alien and the Predator or the aliens? I think the Predator has alien skulls. That's what this looks like. Doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
It's got teeth on the side.
Say again?
Got teeth on the side, look.
It does have teeth on the side right there. Yeah, I seen that. What is this? Just one tusk? Who knows?
And that list of criteria is not the list that all of science has agreed upon.
Science doesn't agree upon shit. That's a reification fallacy. Science is not an entity. An agreement and disagreement are subjective when science is objective. So you're in 2 category errors. You're a numpty dipshit. The lipless wonder?
It is the list that Rob Stadler has put out there based off
super upper lipless.
Sorry. Anyways, Retro Bill sent Dave named his pet goat Science, so perhaps he has actually done it before. Apologies.
Oh,
Huey.
that is terrible.
Oh
Shout out.
my God, family show.
Shout out to Retro Bill, man. Yeah, we miss you, man. Where you been? Haven't seen you Cone's age.
That is a top 3 2025 joke. That it has to be.
Say it again, Flatsy.
Sorry, I had to. I'm trying to do this on my phone. Retro Bill, he sent. Dave named his pet goat Science, so perhaps he has actually done it before. Apologies, QE.
Yes. Apologies. Nicely done, Retro Bill. Glad to have you on board.
Of his area of science to.
He doesn't have an area of science. He's much like you. You don't have one either.
As we already discussed, none of those slides of evidence, not the fossil record, not geographic distribution, not vestigial structures, and not...
Did you say vestigial structures? You ever taken an A&P course, love? You dumbass cracker.
The comparison of organisms, especially...
Comparing shit is not science.
With consideration to their nested hierarchical pattern.
Nested hierarchical pattern again. That sounds science-y. The only thing it's nested is a caper-sized piece of horse shit between your ears, love. That's it.
Failed those 6 criteria.
So again, she's trying to say that these criteria only apply to medicine and don't apply to other areas of science.
No, they don't apply to science, period.
These 6 criteria are fine if you make medical devices. Like,
there you go. You're compromised.
If you're trying to use these 6 criteria for your medical device engineering, these work fine. They more or less.
Really, they work? Show. Go ahead and dream up a medical device and then go through each step and then show.
Being very careful with your bias.
And the directly observable, measurable, whatever one he was going in between the two. And I want to see a perspective study done on a friggin' phenomena. She's an ass. She doesn't know what she's just making. She's just pulling shit out of her ass. You're incoherent, love.
Less acquiesce to.
Don't use my favorite word. I enrapture acquiescence.
Some of those points, but not all of them from his chart earlier. But he's going to take this again and inappropriately apply to other sciences.
Yeah, making medical devices does not require generating theoretical frameworks.
Theoretical frameworks? What are theoretical frameworks, cream of wheat dumbass?
That was Dave's entry into the room.
Yeah.
That's... He's a numpty.
He's a numpty.
He is.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. You know, Dave, you got to go by the mantra. I don't know if you ever heard this before. It's better to remain silent and be thoughtful than to open up your incoherent blowhole and remove all doubt. That's the advice that you need to take, and then run your life on that principle. Fucking glue sniffer.
That make falsifiable predictions.
That make theoretical. Theoretical. Let's get back. Did he say models?
Appropriately applied to.
Oh, that wind's blowing.
Yeah, making medical devices does not require generating theoretical
frameworks. That's right. Theoretical frameworks, Adam, that make falsifiable predictions.
That's what Gutsick tried to use to justify ether and his theoretical framework.
Yes, he did. You're right. That's some bullshit, Dave. You're a retard, aren't you?
Frameworks.
Smile if you are.
That make falsifiable predictions. You just build.
Okay, so
you just build shit. Thanks, Dave.
Well, I'm going to go off track a little bit here and respond to what Dave just said, actually, because there's an irony here that when I first heard this video, I was on an airplane on the way to a conference.
Is the airplane, is that science? Oh, welcome to Flat Earth, by the way. You can't fly on a globetard.
And this was a conference with 10,000 electrophysiologists and medical...
Electrophysiologists?
Scientists and...
That's quite shocking.
Medical engineers. And we get together to talk...
To electrocute each other.
through theoretical frameworks and what is falsified in the data or what is.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, that's not science. See, he just train wrecked Dave, but in doing so, train wrecked Dave and himself. I like when people do my work for me.
What is supported. My focus is on conduction system pacing. And in some ways, a recent clinical study that I just completed is falsifying some of the theoretical predictions there. So,
how about that, Dave?
Dave, I just wanted to let you know.
I'll give you kudos. That was the correct.
Superconductors.
Yeah. So one mind, one spirit. So done what to his goat, Bill? Goodness. It's a family show.
Yeah.
That there's 10,000 of us working hard to extend people's lives
through theoretical frameworks and falsifying their predictions, the predictions thereof,
through products like this. And I'd be happy if
he just train wrecked Dave, by the way.
Someday you were a customer of this and your life was extended by it, even if you use those extra years just to spread more of your vitriol. That's your...
No, he doesn't spread vitriol. He spreads retardation. He's a dumbass.
Choice.
To be abundantly clear here, Rob Stadler took a hierarchy of evidence that is used within medicine, specifically...
A hierarchy of evidence? What? What was his... Did she say hierarchy of evidence? 1 second.
Rob Stadler took a hierarchy of evidence that is...
What evidence? What did he... Oh, I had a bad perspective on this. It does have another tusk right here. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was looking. I'm really confused. First of all, I thought, is it an elephant? Because it's got like a big hole in the middle, like where a trunk is. Or is it a saber-toothed tiger?
I think
or is it a really ugly monkey?
I think it's...
Oh, you might be right, Adam.
I think it's a giant, gargantuan spider monkey.
No, it's a saber
giant
used within...
What?
Could be her great grandma.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Medicine, specifically with relation to medical trials for medications and medical devices. And he said everybody agrees on this, even though it's mostly relevant for medicine. And then he says, here are the 6 criteria that more or less map onto that table. And the 6 criteria don't...
The 6 criteria is not evidence. You dumbass. Do you even know what the hell
remember how many...
Go ahead.
I was going to ask Adam if he remembered how many greats. And is that where her upper lip went?
Yeah, could be.
Really map that well upon second glance. I really don't think they map like at all. And he takes the
Now, that's begging the question fallacy. You said you don't think. Prove that you can think. Because from where I'm sitting, I mean, you're one of the dumber persons that I ever come across. You know what you ought to do? You ass clown chuckle monkey. What you should do is you need to pray ceaselessly. Drop to your knees. Pray ceaselessly to the rock, pond scum, whatever. To the...
Oh, okay. I get it. So she tried to smooch that thing and lost her upper lip.
Smooch what? Oh, that thing over there, and it chopped it off. Huh. Like I said, you need to get on your knees and pray ceaselessly to the rocks, pond scum, or whatever, and give thanks for the autonomic nervous system. Because if you had to think to breathe, you'd be in big trouble.
Mutation of the medical evidences table, which is already not applicable to other areas of science. And then he
Well, it's not science to begin with.
Says that his 6 criteria, that mutation, is the criteria that we should basically all be using to evaluate all science.
Not evaluate all science, it's a methodology. Science is a method. It's not an ends. It's a means. Glue sniffer.
Which is not appropriate.
Like I said, I get it that not all science uses the same approaches, the same techniques. So
not all science uses. Yeah, they use the scientific method. That's it.
Randomized controlled clinical trials don't.
That's epidemiological studies. That's not science. Am I going to have to show you that? Because that has to deal with correlation. Correlation doesn't equal causation. Remember you said that something about the cause of the effect or something along those lines? Yeah, you don't get that from correlation or statistical studies. That's what perspective studies are.
Makes sense in chemistry. I get that.
Say again?
I don't think he's epidemiological. I think he's more talking just straightforward clinical drug trials. But
yeah,
fundamentally.
Yeah.
Device trials, same thing. Which is, again, you see, what are you testing here? Are you testing the cause and effect? No. You're testing how patients respond and how they respond in negative ways.
Hey, Adam, take over. The doorbell just rang. Go ahead, keep going. Sorry.
I would have done until you put the pressure on. Yeah? But that's the point. It's nothing to do with science. It's exactly what he's doing, which is just medicine. Yeah. So in all of these empirically controlled studies, you're doing your best to keep all of the things that he talks about, errors, biases, to a minimum. Perfectly fine. To kind of come to a conclusion as to whether or not you should use this drug to control people's heart rates or to use it because people have got erectile dysfunction. This is the kind of thing that comes out of drug trials. Actually, we thought this drug might cure epilepsy, but no, it's gabapentin. We'll sell it for pain control, yeah? These are the things that come out of these studies. You know, nobody had any less seizures, but they reported lost pain.
I thought that gabapentin was for nerves.
But not science, yeah? It's pissing in the wind, if I'm being honest, isn't it?
Yes.
So what do you label it as?
It's a drug trial. Is exactly what it is. Give a load of people this drug and see how they all turn out. Yeah?
All right, I'm back. It was male lady. She got soaked.
I've never said that was the case. They're trying to push away these 6 criteria and get them out of the way so they don't.
Well, get them out of the way because it had nothing to do with science. They should have recognized that, but they didn't. They train wrecked themselves. The charge is fraud, and they're guilty. But they're too stupid to realize that they unwittingly fell for it.
Have to deal with them. These 6 criteria, I
You just made up?
Presented them in the book. I described them from the experiment of dropping an object and seeing.
You described them from the experiment of dropping an object. Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, big problem, Sunshine. That's not an experiment. You would fail intro to 5th grade general science.
How fast an object falls.
How fast it falls? What about a helium balloon? What about clouds? What if you dropped a cloud?
Right, that certainly is not medicine. It's not a medical topic. So
it's not a scientific topic.
Maybe what we got to do is, QE, when Nathan's book comes out, highlight all of chapter 10. Was it chapter 10? And send it to him.
He wouldn't understand it. Oh, and that law that you're speaking about, which isn't science, that was debunked about 110 years ago. You haven't been keeping up on your continuing education credits, have you? For about 110 fucking years.
So these 6 criteria could apply to space travel, to chemical...
Space travel? To length, width, and height travel? Or are you talking about the fairy tale vacuum of space? The direct violation of the second law of thermodynamics. Along with Boyle's law, Charles' law, Gay-Lussac's law, Avogadro's law, parts of Dalton's law, Brownian motion, and the second law of thermodynamics. In violation of all of them.
Different order, but yes, correct. I was ticking them off.
Were you ticking them off?
Yeah, we've as an FYI, we've been doing that chapter. And
we've been running into that in a number of chapters, haven't we?
Well, it's useful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could recite them too.
Go ahead.
Charles Law, Boyle's Law.
Wrong. Wrong. You got them wrong. You got them in the wrong order.
Oh man, did I?
Yeah. Go ahead. Try again.
I don't remember now, but I can name them all.
You little pepper, you.
I thought I was right. Dang.
Okay, I'll say it again. Go ahead.
He got second law and Brownian motion the wrong way around as well, so it's not perfect.
Well, because I spoke to the second law of thermodynamics first, and then I said it's also in violation. I should have ended with Brownian motion, but that's the only problem. I started with the last one first.
So is it Charles Law, Gay-Lussac?
No, it's Boyle's law.
Boyle's law, Charles Law, Gay-Lussac's law, Avogadro's law, parts of Dalton's law, Brownian motion, and the second law of thermodynamics.
Look at that.
No.
Yep.
Parts of Dalton's law, second law of thermodynamics, and Brownian motion.
No, you can use those. No.
That's the reason.
No. You can use them. You could use them. They could be interchangeable. In order.
Taking it easy on you, side.
I'm not taking it. I called her out. And Adam, those can be used interchangeably, in order. Don't you try to screw up my cake.
You name it. When you practice according to these criteria, it gives you greater confidence. So I think these guys are quite misled.
Misled? They're dumbasses. So are you, in this context.
In what they're saying in this video. I think this all got kicked off because I had a focus initially on medicine and levels of confidence in medicine, and that kind of started them off on this path. But I wanted to show, Erica said that these levels of evidence in medicine, which is something I presented during our original video, these levels of evidence are agreed upon by all doctors, right? So randomized controlled trials are here, and like panel of expert opinion.
What the hell is going on here?
This is getting painful now. This is not medical justification.
Very, very strange behavior, Adam.
And down here.
What? No one's talking about the elephant in the room, are they?
Nope.
The scientific method. That's the both sides.
Yep. Yes, sir. You got it.
This is from the Appendix A in my book, which I guess Erica didn't read. But this explains how...
Well, you made the shit up. Can you support this outside of yourself?
These levels of evidence map to the 6 criteria.
We got levels of proof, Adam. We got... this is hard proof. This is... somewhat proof. This is very little. He's a moron.
You'll notice here that the 6th criteria, which is to make reasonable conclusions.
I thought 6th criteria. Oh, the criteria. I'm sorry. I was reading down here. The 6th case study.
Reasonable claims is not here. That's because making reasonable claims is something that you do after you've collected the data. This is how you...
So you make claims after you collect the data. What data?
Summarize your results. And so that applies to all of these things.
This is the part I was saying when you nip to the post later. The kind of data you gather there is whether or not the drug you're testing caused people to shit their pants. And then you know that 54% of people taking the drug shat their pants. That's the kind of data you collect afterwards.
Then what do you claim?
That if you need to go to the toilet, take this drug, you've got a 54% chance you'll go to the toilet quickly.
But you can see that as you move down the accepted levels of evidence, you
accepted. So these are accepted. These are evidences. I think it's not that. It's not even that you're wrong. Oh, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
Edison.
No, these aren't evidences. A randomized controlled trial is a randomized controlled trial. It's not evidence. It's non sequitur.
Gives you a probability of whether or not you'll shit your pants if you take it.
Oh boy.
You have fewer and fewer of these 6 criteria met. So you get down to a panel of experts where nothing is met.
Panel of experts? What the hell is he on?
And then I might add here, down here.
Is that evidence? That's us.
No, I said that's us.
Yeah.
There's a panel.
It's only one panel of experts.
If you dig up bones and you're trying to conclude something like dinosaurs evolved into birds.
Didn't we already go over this? Train wreck of a dumpster fire?
That is a retrospective observational study.
Really? It's a retrospective observational study, Adam. He got in touch with Doc Brown or something.
Looking back in time and observing things.
He looked back. I told you.
And basically, you're not meeting any of those criteria. So that is a very low confidence kind of result. All right. I hope that's helpful to clear up some of the confusion.
Oh, we're clear.
There.
Yeah, because looking
so
at
now,
to summarize, looking at dinosaur bones, you get no ticks in any box. Is what he said. No ticks.
No ticks.
Well, buying clinical trials, you get in 3, maybe 4 ticks.
Well, you need fur to gather ticks.
I seen them ticks the other day, boy. They were all over one of my friends. They weren't over me because I sprayed diligently. And he was pulling ticks off him like it was going out of style, man. Just pulling. I said, good luck with that.
It's one creature that needs to be freaking excommunicated.
Don't you speak about ticks.
Oh, I had one.
Don't you speak about him. Flatsy, tell him.
Only QE would get angry if you speak about ticks before he does.
Who gets angry about tick identification?
Oh, QE.
I want to move on to the next misunderstanding that I heard in the video series, in the rebuttal video. Actually, this one didn't come out so clearly in the video, but I've heard other people speak to it, and so I wanted to speak to this. And the misconception is that if my work, if my field of research or the thing I'm focused on, if it doesn't meet those 6 criteria, you're calling me a bad scientist.
Oh boy. We got a live one, Adam.
Did he mean that in the
angry, QE.
Hey, Neil, I said, Adam. Neil, do you think your name's Adam?
Oh, that's a compliment.
Do you think your name's Adam? I said, Adam, and then you immediately spoke.
Oh, you know why? Because I looked and my mic was off mute. So I said, let me take this opportunity.
Adam. Go, floor is yours. Get the Neil
First
next.
I thought, what does bad mean in this sense? But what's more important is, again, I'd like to just reword it after his long-winded explanation of his criteria. If my work doesn't meet the 6 medical assessment criteria I presented, you're calling me a bad scientist. No, I'm calling you a bad scientist because your assessment methodology isn't the scientific method. It's 6 medical assessment techniques or validation of confidence. That's why you would be a bad scientist, pal. Or not a scientist at all. Man.
There you go. That's what I was waiting for. Thank you. Neil.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, a bunch to speak about. When I said Adam before, you got anything else?
No, I'm on mute.
Okay. And I'm also not doing that at all. I'm not calling you a bad scientist. I'm simply saying that what you're working on is very hard to come up with a clear answer, and you're going to have a very difficult time coming up with confidence in that. People go into a field of study because they're passionate about it. But I think when they go into that field, they may not realize how challenging some areas are to get at the truth. So, for example, if you're studying dinosaurs evolving into birds,
oh boy,
you're going to hugely struggle against things not.
You're going to hugely struggle at them. It's going to be a gargantuan struggle.
Being repeatable, not being direct.
Go ahead.
That's science.
Yeah, it's science.
You're going to hugely struggle against things not being repeatable, not being directly observable, not being able to prospectively study things.
Boy, he sticks to his criterion. I'll give him that.
This field of science where I can't see the shit.
Yeah. Too funny.
That doesn't make you a bad scientist. You can use the best technique.
No, it just makes you a moron.
Delusional.
Delusional
approaches
moron.
out there, but you're not going to be confident about what you come up with.
Don't tell me what I'm going to be confident or non-confident. What's up? Where'd your lips go?
I don't know who you
So
think
these
you
first-
are, but you aren't. Right? Yeah.
What?
I was talking to him. I was saying, I don't know who you think you are, but you aren't.
You aren't. Ah, nice one. Nice
Yeah.
one. Thank you.
First three criteria are not about the scientist, really. They're more about the question that you've chosen to try to answer.
What fucking question? There are no questions. There's suppositions. That's a supposition is not a question. It's a supposition. That's what a
The only
hypothesis. Say again?
Sorry. The only question here is what the heck are you talking about?
How much glue are you sniffing? True or false? That's the only real question here.
That's true. I should have said that one.
No, I'm talking about you.
Not me.
No, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, there are no questions. You're in science, buddy. Science. You're a moron. Yeah. Oh, by the way, you'd fail 5th grade general science. Just FYI.
You're going to struggle against these depending on the question you try to answer. These bottom three criteria, those actually do more speak to the quality of the scientist.
This speaks to the quality of the scientist, Adam.
What the shit buckets is he talking about? That the indictment, isn't it? So let's look at them. The quality of the science, being careful to avoid bias. I think I covered that, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
How do you avoid bias? You follow the scientific method.
Yeah.
Careful to avoid assumptions.
How do you do that?
Well, we're going to control shit, aren't we? We're going to look. Yeah, but
you follow
reasonable claims.
I'll take over. Number 4, careful to avoid bias. Yeah, I'm going to take over. And how you do that? You employ the scientific method. Number 5, careful to avoid assumptions. How do you do that? Well, you employ the scientific method. Yeah. Did you follow that, Adam? That's where I thought you know. Go ahead.
Well, I thought it was implicit in that. Sorry, I was then reading number 6, reasonable claims.
Didn't you?
What's scientific about the word reasonable? It can be as outlandish as you wish if you back it up. It doesn't have to be reasonable. We're not searching for mediocrity in our discoveries, are we?
No. This is a category. No, it's a category.
Requisition reasonable, yeah.
No, it's a category error, Adam, because the reason has nothing to do with the outcome of experiments. Nothing. Has nothing to do with it.
Would it upset your average Democratic voter? Is it reasonable? No, well, then let's proceed with science.
Nicely done. Yeah, this is a category error. Reason. That has to do with logic. Yeah, it has nothing to do with experimental results. Zero.
We all have to struggle against bias and assumptions and making sure that our claims are reasonable. And I will say that, you know, bad scientists can get off on these three and make some mistakes there, and that kind of separates the good ones from the bad ones.
Oh boy.
Now, to make this kind of interesting and bring an example in, I wanted to bring in the example of
all right, let's get to some examples. Examples of what?
Donald Johanson. He's a guy.
Donald Johanson? The hell you say, sir?
Who discovered Lucy. You're probably all familiar with Lucy.
What, he had like 4 bones or something?
Lucy from the Peanuts?
No, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Dang it, you baby.
Keeping the Beatles out of this.
Australopithecus afarensis.
Oh, wait a second. He's getting into some sciencey words. 1 second. Let me hear these.
Donald Johanson.
Latin.
Is it Latin?
Yeah, throw a bit of Latin out. Latin classification, make it sound sciencey and be clever.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a guy who discovered Lucy. You're probably all familiar with Lucy, the species of Australopithecus afarensis.
Oh, that's science.
Wow.
That's science.
Yeah,
right?
what that means, the Latin means little tiny monkey that we found in Africa. What do it mean?
He got me, boy. How does he say it again? Can you give a half a J?
There is no half a J's. There's either full J's or a fiver.
Full J, please.
I don't want to go back here. Australopithecus afarensis. How about that?
He got me. I'm signing up. He knows his stuff.
So in his work, he's trying to answer a question like, is Lucy the first ancestor of all humans?
Whatever possessed him to ask a dumbass question like that?
You know, did Lucy evolve into modern humans?
Did Lucy? There's no Lucy there. You just got damn bones. And what's evolve mean? What the hell is that, by the way?
And so forth.
And what's up with the so forth? So forth what? Is that part of the question?
Going through these top 3 criteria, right? He's not going to be able to go into a laboratory and see Lucy evolve into a human, right?
Jesus. Adam, somebody save me, man.
Right. So this is the point, is it? Lucy never evolved into a human. She just died. They found a couple of her bones.
Can't do
Never
that. You
evolved
can't
into
directly.
anything. It was just Lucy, a little monkey in Africa.
she just died.
She just died.
That's it, Adam. That's why I needed it. Thanks. Brian, did I hear a potato tree climber try to add something?
No, you heard Brian.
Yeah, thank you, Neil. Yeah, I was just saying that when she died, she was a fish.
I don't know about that.
And when they found her, she was a monkey.
I don't think so. We already went over fishes before.
Yeah, but you keep saying there's no defined evolution, and I got a definition for it.
It's a Pakistani whale dog. I'm surprised Adam wasn't all over this. I'm sorry, Neil. What were you saying?
You keep saying that there's no definition. They don't define evolution. And I did a quick search and I got a definition.
All right, good.
And it says the process by which different kinds of living organisms are thought to have developed and diversified from earlier forms during the history of the Earth.
And thought to have.
Thought, yeah.
So it's a thought. Okay?
Oh, dear.
All right. I'll accept that definition. All right. Connect that definition with the scientific theory of evolution. So state the scientific theory of evolution and then dovetail it with that definition coherently. Floor is yours.
Well, see, that's the problem, right?
Not a problem for me. It's a problem for you. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's all you have to say, ladies and gentlemen. Define evolution. Now I got a list of 6, but this is all you got to say to an evotard retard. Define evolution. Now they're gonna come up with something, right? They'll pull something out of Chat GPT or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. I always accept it. And then my next question is, please post a scientific theory of evolution and dovetail it or connect it with that definition. Get your popcorn out. There's going to be a lot of name calling. You know why? Because the scientific theory of evolution doesn't and has never existed. That's why. Simple as that.
He observed that happen. All he has is a few, bones at that time. He just had a few broken bones. And he can't prospectively study Lucy evolving into something. So he's got himself into a difficult situation. The question that he's trying to answer.
That was his question? Let's see it.
And I appreciate this. He wrote this
He's going
book.
to show it. So we got Donald Johanson, the discoverer of Lucy, Australopithecus. There you go. Afarensis spoke about the struggle in his 1981. That was a good year. Lucy, the beginnings of humankind. Was that the name? Oh, yeah, it was. What we got here? Looks human to me. I remember wishing that there was some orderly way that we could proceed. A safe retreat into the step-by-step procedures that all scientists find so useful. You mean like the scientific method, Donald?
Lucy,
oh, sorry about that. And so reassuring, something we could work on as technicians? But you're a scientist. To relieve ourselves of the hugeness, I guess that's where he got that hugeness word. I thought it was misappropriated, but I digress. To relieve ourselves of the hugeness and the cloudiness of the ideas that these fossils kept pushing in our mind. Is he a glue sniffer? The fossils kept pushing in our minds. What? Is he drunk? That's pretty stupid. The mammoth reification fallacy.
Beginnings of humankind. And he was very candid about this struggle that he faced. And so here's a quote from that book.
I'm sorry he's going to read it. I should have let him do it.
I remember wishing that there was some orderly way that we could proceed, a safe retreat into the step-by-step procedures that
all scientists find so... Method? Yeah, the scientific method? Is that what you're speaking to, there, Dr. Rob? Or your 6th criterion?
All scientists find so useful and so reassuring, something we could work on as technicians to relieve ourselves of the hugeness and the cloudiness of the ideas that these fossils kept pushing into our minds.
So in here, actually, QE, no, not the scientific method. Figuring out whether that monkey bone evolved into humans, modern humans, is not the purview of science. It's nonsense. It's fantasy, which is what's kind of being alluded to here. Yeah.
Yeah, it is, Adam. But in the context just into itself, Adam, the step-by-step procedures that all scientists find so useful is the scientific method. And you're right, it's misappropriated or misapplied here, but that's still, that statement is the scientific method. She's correct. It doesn't apply here, but they used it here. Now you may continue, sir.
Wishing that there was some orderly way we could proceed. That's the point of distinction. No, you can't proceed to figure out whether these monkey bones are our ancestors, using the scientific method. That was my point.
Yeah, your point, and it stands. We were speaking past each other. But yes, within the context of this message, yes. But they didn't identify what that step-by-step procedures were. That's one problem. And even if they did, it wouldn't be applicable to his previous sentence and to the topic.
Maybe this is where these 6 criteria might be applicable. Dr. Pete's.
I really appreciate him being candid like this, because he's basically saying that, I wish
that he's a glue sniffer. That's what he's basically saying. It's just made up horseshit.
I could practice high confidence science. I wish I could.
No. What he's saying, he said he wish he could practice the scientific method, but he can't. He's getting ideas pushed into his minds by fossils. And I don't know how they're pushing. How do fossils push ideas into your mind? I'd like to see that. You got a picture of that?
Maybe refracted was right. Maybe they're not dead.
Confident answer to these questions, but I'm struggling, and I just can't have a confident answer. And that's those first 3 criteria are coming back to give them a hard time.
Not the first 3 criteria, the scientific method, not your first 3 train wreck made up on the spot horse shit criterion.
So be careful about the questions that you decide to take on, because you might have...
There are no questions, glue sniffer.
Quite a struggle of your career.
Yeah, looking in the mirror.
Because of the questions you've decided to take on.
Yeah, the questions. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, those questions. Those idiotic, non-scientific questions. Yep.
Okay, now I want to go on to the next misunderstanding, I think, that happened during this video series. And this is a big one. This happened frequently.
This is a big one. Adam, get ready. Misunderstanding. Failure to address the question at hand.
Reject mode.
Do humans and bacteria share genes from a common... And this is debunked. This train wreck horse shit was debunked decades ago, and it was officially spoken of by the geneticist of geneticists, Dr. Craig Venter, and said that this was horseshit. Like I said, he hasn't been keeping up to date with his continuing education credits. That's a problem.
Yeah, but they keep using it, QE. I just looked it up. They keep using it.
I know. They keep because he's an enabler. That's why. This is, we need to go there again. This is going to be a bit more challenging, I think. I'll tell you what. Let's go to evolution soup to nuts. That's going to have it in there. Of course, you're going to get a ZZ Top Beard waiting for me to find it. This is quite large.
What are we after?
We're after Dr. Craig Venter and the Tree of Life.
Oh, God.
Common ancestry. Oh, you said, oh, God.
Well, I won't spoil the quote, but yeah, okay, yeah.
It's
always nice when you cite the Tree of Life to pull this quote out, making it null and void, but go on.
Oh, we're there.
We're on it, okay.
It's got to be here. There it is.
It's a bit like that graduated atmosphere, isn't it? There is no graduated atmosphere.
Yeah. Like I said, Dr. Craig Venter, the grand poobah of geneticists, the geneticist of geneticists, in front of God and about 10,000 people at Arizona State University, all cluttered in this big auditorium, along with Richard Dawkins and Lawrence Krauss and Paul Davies and about 4 Nobel laureates. Everyone got quiet when he said this. There is no tree of life. It's an artifact from early scientific studies that aren't holding up. So there is not a tree of life. It's all over. That was in 12 February 2011. Of course, there were no early scientific studies. He was bloviated right there. But we'll take his final point. That's common ancestry. This is just a fancy way of saying common ancestry, the tree of life. That's one of the diagrams he had up earlier. We'll take a look. I'm sure they'll bring it up again. But that's it. It's all over. But it seems like our boy here, Dr. Rob, doesn't know about this.
Oh, Sarah's got a little side chain of the tree of life on her t-shirt, you'll notice.
Really?
Yeah, if you look at her, she's got a little monkey, then an ape, and they start to like straighten their back, and then suddenly they look like modern human.
She got a hippo's body. She got a hippo's body, dude. I'm showing it to everyone on YouTube.
Not on about her body. I'm on about on her body. The t-shirt that's on her body.
Yeah, I know.
She's got a little subsection of the tree of life.
You don't got a t-shirt on. She's in a fishbowl.
On that one, in the video.
Fair enough. All right, let's see where this cat's going. It's academic at this point. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Do humans and bacteria share genes? Where'd they get genes from? The Evotards. They're naturalists. Show. Oh, I'm not going to do it again, Adam. Show the dirt. How about that, Adam? Yeah.
I'll do.
All right.
During the rebuttal to our video. And this is a misunderstanding of failure to address the question at hand, or even modifying the question at hand. This came about when I was discussing this question: do humans and bacteria share genes from a common ancestor? And that was in relation to a statement in my son's biology textbook that affirmatively said, yes, humans and bacteria share genes from a common ancestor.
Oh, going directly against the geneticist of geneticists. Textbooks are doing that now, eh? Interesting.
This question, we compared against these criteria, and we found that you can't repeatably evolve an organism in...
What's evolve mean? Wouldn't it be dead right there before it got to your criteria? Asking for a friend.
To bacteria and then into humans, and directly observe that the genes have been transferred through, inheritance.
Genes, you already gave them the dirt. You're an enabler.
To the bacteria and to the human. And you can't prospectively study this because it took billions of years to do that.
Did it?
So I was saying this is very low confidence.
No.
And in the rebuttal video, Erica comes back with a strong, let's say, disagreement with that. So let's listen to what she's saying, and I think you'll find it kind of interesting here.
Do humans and bacteria share genes from a common ancestor, right? This goes back to that tree of life. And this statement in my kid's biology textbook is very strongly asserting, yes, they do share genes from a common ancestor. But if we ask science...
It doesn't matter. From their theological standpoint, they can only say, yeah, of course, great Uncle Slimy.
Uncle Slimy.
Yeah, they have to revert. They have no position other than to accept that claim, yeah?
And then I will bring Thor's hammer down with Dr. Craig Venter.
I know, but when you postulate that nonsense, they have no other position than to accept. Of course, that's logical because of where they claim everything came from nothing. Back to the dirt again, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's see.
I wish they'd point me in the direction of the science that they're talking to so I can have a discussion.
Yeah, there isn't any. Let's see what's going to happen here. I think he's going to point out a straw man. This is what the feeling that I'm getting. That they're going to weasel out with the straw man or a red herring fallacy. That's what I'm thinking.
This question, Can we answer this question while meeting these 6 criteria?
So let's pause for a second.
Can it be done?
I'm going to say point blankly, yes, right? We can sequence the genome of a human, and we can.
You can sequence the genome of a human. Of course, she doesn't know who Dr. Craig Venter is. Fucking ass clown. So we can sequence the genome of a human. What does that have to do with this?
Just wait. There could be a Nobel Prize coming up here.
Okay.
Give her a chair. Let's say this. This is going to be an uneducated solution.
Okay.
I assume you'll then laugh at. Yeah.
Oh, wait. I'll go back. I'll pull 5. Are you done?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stop it again. We gotta mark. Somebody mark these down.
Point blankly, yes, right? We can sequence the genome.
Look at dumbass Dan down there shaking his head up and down like some type of moron. Watch him. Don't listen. Don't watch her. Watch Dr. Dan, dumbass.
Meeting these 6 criteria.
So let's pause for a second.
Can it be done?
I'm going to say point blankly, yes, right? We can sequence the genome.
Look at him. Yeah. Okay, we can sequence the genome, all right?
Of a human, and we can sequence the genome from any bacteria you want.
Okay, so we got gene sequences. I don't know where you got genes from. You just destroyed your own worldview. You're that stupid.
Bone A and bone B.
Yeah.
Oh, we got human with its preordained coding.
Yep.
And a bacteria with its set of own information.
Yeah.
Been encoded into it.
You can't have
let's carry on.
Information cannot exist within a naturalist worldview because information is neither matter nor energy, and with your dumbass worldview as a philosophical naturalist, only matter and energy can exist. You're done. That's it for you. Okay, let's continue on with the question. So we can sequence human genome. We can sequence any bacteria genome. And?
Pick any. Do all of them if you'd like.
Do all of what? You already did the human and the bacteria. What the hell are you talking about?
You could theoretically do every human and do every bacteria.
Okay, we got it. Yeah, we got that far. Okay.
You could theoretically do everything alive. And you can...
Everything alive, yeah, because all life contains DNA. Okay?
Repeat that over and over.
Repeat what? Repeat sequencing the information that cannot exist in your worldview. That's not answering the question, dumbass.
Over and over again, sequencing the genome and comparing those genes to see.
So we're comparing genes. That's not the question. You forgot the last part. See, this is the rub. Do humans and bacteria share genes from a common ancestor? Now, they're not sharing because you got humans that have genes and bacteria that have genes. Do you think they're sharing? Is this like telekinesis? But the whole point is from a common ancestor. I'll bet you she leaves it at.
If they have shared or conserved genes between them.
So you heard Erica's rebuttal there, and I hope you...
Yeah, that's it. She left out the common ancestor part. She's a glue sniffer. Yeah, good job. That's a good job by him. He's listening good, even though he's a train wreck. I think this is the path that he's going on.
Picked up on what happened here. What happened? This statement we've already said, and we talked through it, is a
good.
This is what she's not addressed. Even like if Neil borrowed my jeans, right, and wore them downtown, went out for the day, and then gets sent them, would that mean we're related?
I don't know. Maybe. Ask an evotard.
Well, in relation to the question, then, do humans and bacteria, even if they did, would that then automatically mean that they have a common ancestor because they share a specific bit of encoding?
No.
Information that's already been preordained in them?
No.
No, the question's malformed. Would be my point there. It's a leading.
Yeah, but they're dumbasses. They'll fall right into it.
A very low confidence kind of question.
Shut up.
But Erica came in and said, wait a minute, we can say that humans and bacteria share genes.
I'm going to say point blankly, yes.
Point blankly.
We can do that repeatedly and directly observe it. So you see what changed here? What she did actually is she changed the question.
I told you. That's exactly, he caught her. Yeah, you didn't answer the question, you dumbass cracker. My God, are you stupid? Where'd she graduate from? They graduate dumbasses out of there.
I don't think she... I think she's
Tuco.
the YouTuber. He who collects monkey skulls. Because earlier they said they got one YouTuber and two biologists or something.
I thought he said biologist.
I think by default that means she's got no qualification in that sense, other than a mighty fine collection.
I'd take my biologist, like I said before, with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
And comparing those genes to see if they have shared or conserved genes between them.
She's striking out this part of the question, removing that, and then the question becomes, do humans and bacteria share genes?
Yeah, nicely done. He caught her.
To be fair, that was our critique, and he's spot on.
Yeah, he's spot on. He caught her. Yep. She's a dumbass. Yep, good job.
Well, that actually is a high confidence kind of answer because
you think. Do you actually think humans and bacteria have genes?
You can repeat that, you can directly observe it, and it's prospective. So she's changing the question. She's not addressing the question at hand, and changing it certainly makes it more high confidence.
Yep.
But this topic caused a lot of confusion among those who are rebutting us.
Well, yeah, they're retards. I told you they were ass clown chuckle monkeys. They're morons. Everyone knows it.
And I'm going to play another clip in that. It continues. There's a lot of this confusion going on, and they end up missing the whole point, I'm afraid.
Is she going to continue? All right.
Yeah. And I'll add, so with our comparison between humans and bacteria and their common ancestry, like they match, they meet also.
And they match the common you forgot to demonstrate the common ancestry, dumbass.
6 of those criteria.
Citation. What's matching? What does that match mean?
Yeah, I'd like to know that matching. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yep.
Though those criteria aren't appropriate for this specific, evaluation of high versus low confidence science, they still meet all that criteria. And so does every other aspect of science. It depends on how you phrase the question.
What?
It wouldn't even, my molecular biology is a bit weak, but even on the structure of the cell wall.
Yep.
Yeah, they wouldn't match. Yeah?
Exactly.
That's why antibiotics work, because the difference.
Look at you. You're getting frustrated, man. It's so stupid. I was going to ask him, can you show the gene? I was going to be a wise ass too, but I thought it would gross people out. I said, can you share the genes that dictate the information needed to construct nose hairs in bacteria? That's what I was going to do, but I thought I'd just let it go, right? Right? But they can relate. They can relate. They can relate because they're booger eaters.
I know they are. It's just frustrating. Go on.
Yeah, it's really stupid. That's what I was going to say. You're right on it, Adam.
Which is where I think he's being, a little sneaky here with how he's setting this
you're
up.
a dumbass.
Well, she's accusing me of being sneaky in how I set this up, and she said it depends on how you ask the question. Well, it really, really does. If you're trying to answer a question about common ancestry like this, you're losing. You're not going to be able to do this with confidence. But if you're simply comparing genomes, you can do that with high confidence. Sorry, I need to preface this next segment that I'm now looking into the high confidence side of this, where we're looking at experimental studies conducted in
experimental studies. I'd like to see one of those.
Lab to see how organisms change over time prospectively.
How organisms change over time. Is that an experiment? What's
He's going to grow mushrooms.
He's going to what?
He's going to grow mushrooms in the lab.
Repeatedly with direct observation.
And I need to highlight that all of that was high confidence kind of work. It's repeatable, it's directly measurable because you can sequence the DNA in the gene.
Sequence DNA? Where'd they get DNA from? Where'd they get the dirt?
Now, wait a second. I thought comparison of organisms was considered low confidence science.
Comparing organisms is a fucking nothing burger. It's not low confidence and it's not science. It's a train wreck of a dumpster fire, logically speaking. Reasonably, you should be institutionalized. You're an ignorant muppet.
Rob.
So there she's jumping in, and now she's saying that comparing organisms was low confidence. In this situation, what we're trying to answer is what changed in the DNA over the course of this experiment. This is a prospect.
What experiment? What, did anyone hear an experiment? Did I miss it? I must have missed it.
Experiment. We're asking what changed in the DNA over the course of the experiment.
DNA of what? Adam.
Bacteria in the human in the course of the. I laughed because he said experiments. I'm just trying to think. I know he's misused it, but what changed in the DNA over the course of us sequencing the DNA for the human and the bacteria, which may support any nonsensical postulation of evolution, whatever that is. I think it's the point he's making. All we've done is sequence DNA.
Yeah.
All we've done is measure the length of the monkey bones.
Yep. Yeah, that's not science. It's a what is. He's answering a what is question. No. You need to answer a cause and effect question. In the midst of your begging the question fallacy and her train wreck worldview.
That is very much repeatably, directly observable prospective study. So this is high confidence. Somehow she's accusing me of having said this was low confidence. But in reality, that's because she was striking out the crux of this question.
The crux of the biscuit. You better be careful. You're almost in the trademark copyright violation,
and making it high confidence because of that.
And so that observation process.
See, there's their tree of life, the one that Dr. Craig Venter destroyed. See, so there is not a tree of life. Not for these idiots. Their delusional Dunning-Kruger deflector shields are at full power. Scotty. So what do they got up here? Tree of life. This looks science-y.
Requires a human there to be able to make those observations and to pass the learnings along to the next generation. But of course, over here on this tree of life, humans only existed for a pretty short period of time here in history. And beyond that, going back in the...
Yep, he's going to discuss that which has been debunked decades before him. Yep, there you go.
Past, there really are no direct observations that anybody could have passed along.
Pause. I want to pause. No. See those little. See these little creatures, the trees and the human at the end there, as he said, and then there's these branches underneath. You've got to get rid of all those branches, and just leave just those things. That's all there is. All you've got. Now, some of them you might want to not draw a little pretty human. You might want to draw an old dead monkey, or you might want to draw like an hippopotamus that might look like a T-Rex or whatever. But there is no branches. There is no links in the tree. Nothing is substantiated. It's nonsense. You can't just go no direct observations. Because look, that's to me disingenuous to claim any of that. There is nothing there. It's just your belief.
No, he's an enabler.
Yeah?
He enabled this, Adam. You see these little branches, right? He put them in, Dr. Rob. Do we see these lines in here that are branches? Do I see those? Do they go underneath the trees? Maybe I need, whenever I go out to the archery tournament next time, I'll go up to a tree. I'll try to find where this is connected. These things. Does he have a mushroom here? Are these mushrooms? Right here. I think they are.
Pause right here, and I want everybody watching this to remember this.
Well, just pause. Let's follow the tree. Mushroom leads to mushroom. Hey.
Over here, mushrooms tend to be mushrooms. Over here, there's nothing here. There's just a branch and shit. I don't know where these are coming from.
Is this one here? Is this dog leads to other dogs?
I don't know. Where's the dog at? Oh, there they are. I see them now. I don't know. There's nothing here. So nothingness led to a dog.
Correct observations, because later in this video, all the way at the end, I'm going to say it now in case I forget to point it out then, James Tour says that sequencing and comparing DNA sequences is a direct observation, right?
What an asshat this guy. You're a dumb fuck, dude. Do you think that was a gotcha? Didn't have anything to do with...
Aren't mushrooms like another head bender in terms of...
What? Who interrupted Adam?
I'm picking up an online order.
Oh, there he is. Picking up an order. There you go. I'm friggin' mute for interrupting my show again. Some people's kids.
It's true. Sequencing genes.
He's had a phone call, and then he's forgot when he hangs up that it unmutes him.
How can he forget every time, Adam, unless he's on one of those mushrooms we just looked at?
That was the point. Mushrooms, right? Yeah. You can't put mushrooms on the tree of life. They don't fit anywhere on that. You can't. They're not a side structure. They've got their own tree. Mushrooms, yeah. All fungus. They're not even close to, just like bacterial cells. Like I said about cell wall aren't even close to mammalian cells. Yeah. The fungus sits on its own in a completely different system, doesn't it? It doesn't have any similarities.
Are you entertaining this?
No, I'm critiquing the thing. I say you can't put mushrooms on that. You can put mushrooms on a stroganoff, but you can't put it on the tree of life.
You know what? That's what I'm gonna have for dinner. Oh no, I'm not. I seen mahi out there. I have to eat mahi tonight.
What the hell's that?
Friggin' fish. This friggin' monkey.
A fish that used to be a monkey. That was tasty.
There it is.
What's bad about that? That looks a nice fish.
Look at that one. Definitely. Where are they at? Probably Hawaii. There's a lot of mahi around the Hawaiian Islands. I know that. Yep, there it is, Adam. You see that?
What's it taste like then? Is it white or red or?
Nah, it's white. It's whitey. What's it look like? Like that.
That looks okay.
I'm not a big fish guy.
I like fish.
And mushrooms don't go with fish.
No, they don't.
So they're gonna have
cheese.
They're gonna have to come up with another tree. All right, back to there we go.
Genomes and comparing DNA between living forms is high confidence. You can do that. So I don't know why Dan's upset about that, because what Jim said is quite true. So here, does this organism and that organism share some DNA? That is high confidence, right?
little ambiguous. I want to get into this sharing. What does that mean? Sharing.
By sharing, they mean, are there parts of their encoding, the information that they build themselves, rebuild themselves from? Do they have similar bits? Are there bits that match?
That's similar. Similar doesn't mean share.
No. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I said do they have bits that match? Yeah. Now that might be however many, whatever a sequence is, but that's all they're indicting here.
That's still not sharing. Similarity is not sharing. That's this is a weasel. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just pointing that out.
That's why it's a loaded question.
Super sharing some DNA, man.
Retro Bill said, "Hey Neil, pick me up some Chuckle Monkey ice cream."
I was waiting for somebody to catch on to the Chuckle Monkeys. Thanks, Retro Bill. Appreciate it. Don't lose
on the share before you press play.
Yeah.
It preassumes the outcome, doesn't it? Share as in meaning if the things match, they're sharing it as in they have a common ancestor.
Yes.
That's what it seems to link. When you want to invoke the term share, the only way they could share it is through a common ancestor.
That's incorrect.
No, but okay. So in the sense that you and your sister share DNA from their parents, it's come down a lineage, and that's what I'm saying. The only way you can share it if it's come from a common lineage, which is why I say it preassumes the outcome of the question. That
you're correct. Yes. Yep.
But then he goes on, and he goes on trying to.
Why is this so ambiguous? Does this organism and that organism share some DNA? Why is that so ambiguous? What the hell does that mean? All life contains DNA. All life. Every single last one of them. That's it. That's all you got. So everything has DNA. Everything living. So what's your point? There is no point.
To make this work for evidence of universal common ancestry.
Now,
universal common ancestry, that's what my boy over here was talking about. The ancestry, similarities, common descent, tree of life, all the same thing. Dr. Craig Venter said there isn't a tree of life. What the hell are you guys talking about? I know, you're whistling past the graveyard, and you got your delusional Dunning-Kruger deflector shields at full power, Scotty. That's what it is. You ignoramuses. Chuckle monkey ignoramuses.
That's going to be a problem because those are the observations we can make here. We can
compare. What observations are we making here? Where's these branches coming up? I want to see these observations right here. Your little branches, your little lines. Looks like science to me.
Compare sequences across all of these groups and look at not just...
compare sequences? You mean of DNA that all life has? What a moron.
Stadler seems to think it's like, do you share a gene or not?
Were you there? Did you see
like
all of
What the hell?
History?
It's like a binary thing, but it's not.
It's a binary thing.
Not a binary thing. Either you're similar or you're different. It's a...
You're similar or you're different. This is just nonsense, man.
Pattern of similarity in a nested hierarchical pattern.
Oh, now that it's a pattern of similarity in the nested hierarchy of the caper-sized piece of horse shit between your ears. What the hell does that even mean?
It's a buzzword, isn't it? Zyra used it earlier. Yeah,
Zyra.
She said nested. It's an allusion or a reference to the tree of life, mate.
Yeah.
Nested hierarchy. Yeah, that's all it is. They're just reaffirming it, reifying it.
Yeah, with lines. That's what their science is. They're cladograms, right? That's what this all goes back to the taxonomic classification system. That's all this does. And then it's manipulated by secretaries and collators. And lines are drawn in between shit. Guys are morons, man.
And it's the structure of that pattern that provides the testable, directly observable evidence.
Evidence of what? DNA. Where'd you get that, glue sniffer? Naturally speaking, because you're a philosophical naturalist, did you forget about that? You just imploded your entire worldview. And you're so stupid, you don't even realize it. None of you do. Because you're morons.
For universal common ancestry.
He's now
universal common ancestry, the one that Dr. Craig Venter said that was horseshit. This one.
Wouldn't that be the thing they're trying to prove?
Trying to say that you get this pattern of similarity between organisms, and that provides
That's not science. Patterns aren't science.
The directly observable evidence of common ancestry. No, it doesn't, Dan. No, it doesn't do that, because there you're answering a question like, does this group of organisms have a hierarchical structure of DNA because of common ancestry? You're trying to answer that question, and you can't do that repeatedly. You can't directly observe that. You can't study that prospectively. This is low confidence.
This is no confidence. It's absolute made up horse shit. Low confidence. There's no confidence. None. Zero.
I know there's a lot of twists and turns here, but I hope.
Yeah, because you're an enabler.
I hope this is helpful to clear up. You got to be careful.
I'm getting it now. So all of that in introduction for this ranking system is a polite way of saying, yeah, that's real, and no, that's a load of made up bollocks. Say high confidence, yeah, that's real. Low confidence, no, that's a load of made up bollocks.
That's what
it's attack of the nerds, mate. It's just you can't say no, that's just a load of made up bollocks.
Yep.
Yep,
you got it. Yes, Adam.
Careful about the question that you're trying to answer, the question at hand, and focus on that. You can't change it, you can't modify it, but apply these criteria to try to answer the question you're trying to answer. And that tells you if you're going to get to low confidence or high confidence.
Rob, let me just say that it seemed like they were so quick to.
Actually, it might be a methodology for retards to apply to their own thinking to demonstrate to themselves that they are actually retards. But there is a proof in there, I think.
Yeah, that they're retarded.
Well, if you apply the good doctor's 6 steps as a retard who thinks evolution's real, you can demonstrate to yourself that you're retarded.
To come after you, that they really didn't critically think about.
Critically think? Those bozos? Those ass clown chuckle monkeys? You expect them to think? That's a bridge too far.
The question that you were asking and the supposition.
There they are.
That you were putting forward. This happens at times, and like I said, I learned from what they had to say.
Really? What did you learn?
That God is kind to some of us.
Give us a for instance there, Dr. James Tor. You know what I learned? That the chuckle monkeys, the ass clown chuckle monkeys right back there you just showed, are retarded. And you two bozos are enablers that are semi-retarded also. Especially
you didn't learn that just now. You already knew that.
How did I already know that? Oh, when I watched it a month ago.
You knew that all of those guys that they're talking about were idiots from the get-go.
Oh, yeah, I didn't need this.
And I'm learning from this.
Say again?
We watched the first video, and that's sufficient for the indictment that he's an enabler. That was the critique of him. That was our frustration with him.
Yep.
He's not an idiot. The other three are the idiots. Neither's the guy on the left. He's not an idiot either. But he is an enabler, the pair of them. And that's what's frustrating about them. He pops up in the middle of his show and talks about Jesus and science. Ugh. Yeah, these are the points of frustration with these gents. And in their, like I've said before, in their methodology of savaging like a dead sheep, they achieve nothing. They achieve confusion in the mind of the confused. That's all they help with. They don't. Now, people might attack us because we use a bit of colourful language, but we're definitive in the stances. If you listen to this, it's very difficult to see what their actual point is, because it's very nuanced and I say nerdy. You've got to know the point already to kind of get the joke that they're doing tongue-in-cheek to point out that these people are low confidence.
I take umbrage to you saying that this guy's not an idiot. In a scientific context, he's a moron.
Yeah. In the use of the term science, that is doubly frustrating because the way it's just being misrepresented and therefore is fundamentally useless in the conversation. Yeah, and maybe that's by design. Yeah, to neuter the term so it has no true meaning, which is part of my indictment.
I'm not talking about just the word.
He's no Gerron or Witsit. He's an intelligent man that can clearly demonstrate that even what these guys are suggesting is low confidence. You can't test that. Why are you pretending you can? He's eloquent enough to do that.
I object.
But like I say, let me finish. But to the point that it's very difficult to realise that he's actually made a good point because it's so diluted. The points he's making there's no indictment. He's not. This is what we said in the first one with just James talk. He won't take a position of his own and preach it for God's sakes. Yeah, like we do with Flat Earth.
Objection, Your Honor. This guy's an idiot. He demonstrated he was an idiot in the context and a moron in the context of natural science. That's my objection.
Right, that's fine. I think I've made my point now.
And I'm learning that when you're going to come out and
so no, for instance,
and attack people like this, you've really got to listen to the question. And Erica, I would say, was it helpful?
I guess we're not going to get any, for instance, example of what he learned from those chuckle monkeys.
To have that YouTuber giving like these schoolboy comments in the background.
Were you? What this is like? He's like the doctor, isn't he? And he's saying, "Yeah, well, what you've got multiple fractures of the legs, and we can do this, and we can show you this, and we can tell you how you fracture things. But what they won't tell you is the reason to stop it happening again is don't jump out of a window." Yeah, it won't give you the vital bit of information as to why your legs are broken.
Yeah, I'm tracking with that. Was a good one.
You there? Did you see all of history?
Was that really helpful? Is that whom you want to be associated with? If you seem to want to have a really serious channel here. Think about with whom you will associate. So that you can bring on serious folks. Clearly, Dan had some constructive things to say. He wasn't just
constructive, like what, for instance? He wasn't acting like an asshat, but he had no constructive things to say.
Giving silly little.
No, go ahead.
He's just pointing out how much of a butthole Dave Farina is. Which, we already knew that.
Yeah, but how politely again? You see what I mean? The indictment's there if you listen hard enough and then have to fill in a bit just to make sure. What he's kind of saying is, don't invite that dickhead Cream of Wheat ever again. he's a bullshitter. Yeah, that's basically, that needs saying. You can't put it like this, because otherwise you actually, as QE says, you enable cream of wheat next time to be somebody whose opinion's worth tolerating. Or as you kindly point out, he doesn't have a point. He's just a snidey scrote, isn't he?
Yeah, there's
not
nothing
there to learn.
Yeah. 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 He's an asshat. That's it.
Little comments as an 8th grader would give.
Yeah, he's like a heckler, a little 8th grade heckler. Yeah, that's all he's got. Yep.
But for Dan as well. I mean, and I suffer from this too. I mean, do I really hear the question, and am I answering the question, or am I answering something else and somehow
a straw man or a red herring, depending
how attacking in that way?
I hear what he's saying. So if I'm going to speak to him in his own language, like, Doc, you really need to grow a pair and explain to the person why they're wrong from your viewpoint. Present your viewpoint. It's valid. Your love of Jesus and your knowledge of creationism needs to be expounded in your rebuttal to your opponent. You can't just timidly bat away with nuggets of information without taking a proper stance. Otherwise, it's hard to follow what you're saying.
Yep.
It's easy to see that you have a disagreement. It's very difficult. Grow a pair, my son. We'd like to hear your opinion.
Yep. That's very well said, Adam.
So, Rob, I appreciate you doing this. Go ahead. Go on. Take us
And I
further.
think another possibility is that
Another possibility is I'm getting hungry. You better, we're not going to get through this anytime soon. So this is going to end in a few minutes. Just want to let you know there's a warning, 10-minute warning. Thought I'd throw that across the bow.
their mindset, common ancestry is so firmly established. So
is it? Not according to Dr. Craig Venter, it's not. There is not a tree of life. That's common ancestry, by the way. So there is not a tree of life. Dr. Craig Venter.
Yeah. He said in their mindset, I think.
Oh, okay.
So absolutely true that they don't even realize that it's an assumption here in this question.
No, it's not an assumption. You're right about the question. They red herring fallacied away from the question. Irrelevant diversion. That's what they did. They didn't answer the question. But the question's nonsensical to begin with because it was, I don't know how you can debunk something that never had a modicum of proof, but Dr. Craig Venter said that's horseshit.
They just take it as absolute truth. And so whether this phrase here is removed or not, it doesn't matter. It's a fact. And that's maybe why this...
Do you see his camera shaking? Do you notice? Watch what's happening here.
Moved or not, it doesn't matter. It's a fact.
Why is it
and
shaking?
That's maybe why.
Well, what do you look?
Maybe he's got his grandma holding his mobile.
This is getting mixed up in their comments. Okay, let's pick up. So, and I want to go on
to
now.
Shaking.
Oh, I can't stop seeing it now.
It's his kitty cat. Come on now.
It's his kitty cat. It's really aggravating me.
The next misunderstanding that was shown in this rebuttal
Get the camera off you, for God's sake.
Video, and that is, this is a huge one. This is about accepting.
That's what she said.
Accepting a hidden assumption that actually confirms the hypothesis that you're.
The hypothesis? Where's the hypothesis at? I don't see a hypothesis anywhere here.
You see a little dinosaur.
Where at? Oh, right there.
Yes. Rawr.
Rawr.
Trying to prove out.
Hold on, pause.
What the hell did he say? Yeah, I paused it.
Pause. Look. Oh no! Bring the tree back up. There's a slight error.
All right, wait a second. I'll do it and I'll stop it after I need to hear everything you just said.
This is a huge one. This is about accepting a hidden assumption that actually confirms the hypothesis that you're trying to prove out.
To prove out? What's the hypothesis? Go ahead, Adam.
Just a little, like, pictorial note. The monkey and the human are on the same level of the tree. The monkey's not on a different lower level. Look at the little apey dude.
Here?
And there's the nudie bloke.
And the nudie bloke. Yeah, it turns out that they're looking like they're at the same level.
Even on their tree of life.
That doesn't exist.
They need a picture of Lucy lower down.
Yeah, they do.
We're going to see this happening here, and this is really, really interesting.
It's really.
What's at the bottom of their tree?
It's a bacterium with a flagellum.
With a flagellum? No. They see that's you can't have a bacterium with a flagellums evolve. You know.
Don't tell them that. Don't give them that.
Interesting.
No,
because
I'm not saying that. I'm saying in their paradigm, first you've got blobby cell, can't move anywhere, floats around like a spastic. Yeah. Then you get jet propelled bacteria. They can go to Barbados.
They go to Barbados. Floating around like a spastic.
Sixth criteria is to try to avoid making
Shove that 6 criteria right out where the sun doesn't shine, son.
assumptions. And Erica and the team here is going to show us exactly what happens.
The glue sniffing team.
When you make assumptions and how that can reduce your confidence and totally erode
my confidence is already reduced.
Don't. No, because if that drops, then your level of science you're doing will decrease as well. You need to get QE's confidence up so he's more scientific.
My confidence in humanity is very low, generally speaking.
What science is saying.
What is science saying? Let's
low on confidence.
Yeah, I want to see science say something. Science, are you out there?
Yes.
Dude,
and cream of wheat's an idiot. I heard science say something there.
That was really good, Adam. Thanks.
Issue with this because it assumes that they have a common ancestor, but it doesn't assume that they have a common ancestor. The only assumption that's being made when we're doing these comparative genomics with regard to common ancestry is
with regard to common ancestry. Where's common ancestry at?
That genetics and the laws of heritability.
Genetics, genes.
The laws of heritability.
Yeah,
that sounds brilliant.
Yeah, it sounds sciencey.
She's not said out yet, though. She's just stated a load of big words that's going to be hard to put together into a coherent sentence.
Yeah, she doesn't mind.
And inheritance generally work the same now as they did in the past.
Really?
No shit, Sherlock.
Well,
it's a natural law.
Yeah, it's a natural law. I'd like to know where she got those genes from, though, in her worldview, as a philosophical naturalist. Dumbass cracker. Every time you say genetics, you pour a vat of burning hot coals down on your stupid head. You don't even realize it. Where'd the information come from? Love. You're finished. It's over right there. It's not over right there. It began to be over when we asked you, or we requested for you to get your own dirt. So that's where it actually ends. But it's fun to pile on.
Right? We're making a uniformitarian assumption there.
Oh, so you're making an assumption. What does assumption mean? Anyone?
What's uniform? Why is it uniform? What is she saying?
He doesn't know. What's an assumption? Acceptance. I'll tell you. Acceptance without evidence. She doesn't even realize it. She's a dumbass.
Erica is saying that the only assumption being made is that genetics works the same now and in the past. That's the
genetics. How did she get genes? How about that, Mr. Enabler? Why don't you just cut her off there? Nope. You got to chase down her little horse shit, don't you? Go down her little trail, and you don't mind because you're an enabler. So that's your job anyway. That's what you'll do.
Only assumption. Is that really the only assumption? Because what we're trying to do is compare this model of life.
Oh, shit. This is a model? You mean the one that Craig Venter said was horse shit? Right here? So you're saying that what he said was horse shit is now a model. Ladies and gentlemen. That's what he just did. Game, set, match. Adam!
I wasn't waiting for me. I was waiting for Flatsy.
You're waiting for Flatsy? Why are you waiting for Flatsy?
Yeah, I'm waiting for Booger because I'm picking up food because we're having takeout tonight.
What'd you get?
And we got pizza.
I had pizza last night.
Yeah, so so I'm picking up food, but you do have a super chat.
Super chat! Super pizzas!
Yeah, Retro Bill sent, great show, lads. May it reverberate in the stillness of the ether for many generations to come.
That's you cheeky little bastard, you, Retro. That was a shit sandwich. Good, bad, good. You see that, Adam? You see how cheeky he was?
Yeah. But I liked the goat one. That was my
the goat one. That was your favorite. All right, give me. Just relax. Maybe some final thoughts, and I'll be right back in 2 minutes.
Well, I assume Flatsy's final thoughts is extra cheese. Well, I'll run around the room. Neil, hold your horses till last. Otherwise, no one will get it. Is there anyone who urgently wants to speak other than Neil? If not, I'll run down the list. In case they've got anything to add before he rounds out. Jin, are you there, sir? Maybe not. Wiggo, anything to add, sir? And Rayleigh then? No. Oh yeah, Migo, did I see you light up? Are you there? Maybe not. Rayleigh then. You, and if not. Neil, it's all yours. The floor's yours, son.
One deck is not in here because he was asking if there's any way that we could do a show tomorrow for Nathan and just focus on the housekeeping questions, short and sweet. I don't have the ability to do that, so I said I'd run it by you.
No, I think that's sweet, but I think it probably lacks comprehension of the situation and the logistics. No one can run Nathan's show other than Nathan.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's all sorts of codes and shit. You can't just like do that. It's not a reality. And the show will be back next week. Yeah. And some cheap ass imitation would not do the man justice.
Are you
Exactly.
saying? Are you saying? I'm back. Are you saying that he's going to take this week off? Is that what he said?
I don't know. Right.
Yeah, I do. He said he might take the entire week.
I can understand that. Shout out to Nathan. I haven't talked to him, but shout out to you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one dick means well, and I understand that too, but it's just not flat earth debate without Nathan at the helm.
That's why. That's why it's not. That's not why we're not doing flat earth debate.
I'm going to make a plug here. Please subscribe to Nathan Oakley 1980 and Nathan Oakley, respectively.
And?
Oh, I don't know.
He's ace.
And if
yeah, he's ace.
And outside of the subscription, and then this is the important thing, you can spare it in your heart and your thoughts for a minute, a little prayer for the Oakley family, because it's not just Nathan that's lost his dad.
Yep.
Yeah. It's two young girls that lost their granddad, and that's what he, as a dad, has got to look after and nurture, and they're the most important things right now.
Yep.
And so we wish him well with that. And when he comes back, he comes back. And if he needs 3 weeks, 4 weeks, doesn't matter, does it?
Nope.
Because we've got a book to write, and then he'll be ready to go anyway, won't we, once that book is done? And that's love and prayers for all the Oakleys.
For the Oakley family, yes. All right, Adam, and we're going to meet tomorrow. So we got the principals here, right? So tomorrow at 12:30 or 12:30-ish.
12:30-ish.
Who's opening up the room?
Good question.
Refracted did it last time. I'm sure he could do it again.
Well, Adam, you can open one.
Is that going to be? Sorry, is that 12:30 American time, US time?
Don't worry about it. You're not invited.
Yeah.
6:30 UK. That's UK. Okay, thank you.
12:30 Central Time, but it does nothing for you or anyone else besides 1, 2, 3, 4 people at the max.
Okay.
12:30.
Now, when Nathan's there, he'll open up the room, and he can sometimes come and listen to the constructing.
That's not my question. Can you open up the room tomorrow, or does somebody else have to do it?
I don't know. The last time I checked, you had to have a extra subscription to make sure the room lasted more than an hour. So maybe that's what Refracted was able to do for us the other day.
Well, where's Refracted at?
He's gone.
Send her a message, because that lasted all day, that room.
Yeah, it did. Hey, Neil, send him a message.
On it.
All right. Blatzy, you good for 12:30-ish?
10-4.
10-4? 14.
10-4.
It's radio talk. Anyways, yes, I'm ready. I'm good.
All right. Adam.
Let's take you home. Okay. I assume we're going to have one more good bang at this. One more session. And I think
you think one more? We're at 54 minutes and it ends in an hour and 40 minutes. You think it's only one more?
Oh God, I think we've got at least 2 more going.
Before you start, sir, there's a question, because the weather is supposed to be a little soaking wet Saturday. If that occurs, you know what? I may need to make a call right now. I would go 80%. Are you good for Saturday?
I don't know. I think so. I can remember Marie going, I just want a quiet weekend next weekend, after the big party weekend we've had. Oh, no, she's going out. So, no, I'm definitely good.
Oh,
yeah,
she's going out. Okay. All right. So I would give it 80% that we're going to do a Ballbuster Saturday. How about that? I'll give you 80%.
There you go. I'm free.
Go on, Adam. Take us home, sir.
Well, yeah. So what I was going to say was part 3. What I'm looking forward to, and probably what's quite telling here, is even though we started this bit, part 2, kind of analysing his 6 points medical critical analysis theory, it appears to be sufficient to take apart their presupposition. These evolutionary biologists, seems actually quite a sufficient tool to destroy their nonsense, as crap a tool as it is. The only thing I'd like to remind all of them, all 5 of them, when they talk about genetics, and I'm not an expert in it. I know I can see you pulling up your
just continue. You just continue to take us home.
Trying to take your draft picks there.
No, I'm good. You know what? I convinced her not to have the fish. Now I'm going to have chicken and mushrooms.
I'll finish with my reminder to all 5 of these guys who are watching is that, if you've got lots of ZX Spectrum games, the bacteria game, the human game, the dog game, all this, and they'll share different parts of their basic programming. What is the antecedent to that ZX Spectrum game? The antecedent is Sir Clive Sinclair. And unless they get that point, they're going to mess around thinking that correlation has some form of causation.
Yep. Is that it?
Ah, God bless. Good night. We'll see you on Saturday, eh? By the sounds of things.
80% for Saturday. Hopefully we'll see you guys. QE and the rest